line, screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies, while the clock keeps ticking, empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the sand, standing on the ledge. No script, no leash, no polish, quiet. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the wire. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. Everybody's selling truth like a brand, buying opinions they don't understand. Talking in circles, screaming online. Keyboard courage, borrowed spines. Yeah, power plays dressed up as peace. Same old wolves with different teeth. But silence is loud when the house is burning. And the fuse is short, yeah, it's still learning. I don't dance for the left or the right. I stand in the heat, I stand in the fight. No strings, no chains, no manufactured choir. Just gasoline thoughts and an open lighter. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. World's on tilt, pressure climbing. Truth don't whisper, it's perfect timing. You can't cancel the smoke, you can't stop flame. Say my name when it hits, say my name. Why? Say my name. Say my name. Fire don't ask permission. Fire don't need a side. Fire just shows up honest and exposes the lie. This is and I'll bring the fire. Truth is harder. Burn it down till what's real survives. No smoke, no mirrors, just heat and lies. And I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. American fire. Strike it. Let it speak.
What's up, guys? Can you feel the hump day heat? Woo-hoo-hoo. Wow, things are getting spicy from every flipping angle. We have Fauci. The hearing right now is nuts. We're going to cover all the highlights so far that I've been able to gather so far up to now, but it's still going on. So probably be more tomorrow on that as well, but it's already insane. So gonna be covering that. We got the whole world on fire, forest fires everywhere, but only in globalist nations. Isn't that interesting? We'll definitely be covering that, what's going on as Trump is, oh man, he just gave a huge ultimatum, laying the hammers down on Iran. So world on fire, things are going nuts. We have all kinds of midterms, updates, what's going on with the Democrats, what's going on in the Republican Party, the SAVE Act, all that stuff, plus justice updates with the Trump administration's getting done. Plus, you guys know we got a grifter report today. It's gonna be spicy as Candace Owens falsely claims she has a bombshell video that she's showing, and we're gonna have to break all that down. Alex Jones, of course, he's doing this thing on it. Oh my God, the whole Charlie Kirk thing's exposed. So I'll do my best to cover it, show how insane things are. But first, we're gonna get into the chat because this is American Fire. I am Ace. Thank you for watching. This is a community show. Yes, I'm the one with the mic. I'm the one covering it all, but I do my best to get into the chat, answer your questions and comments as much as I can because community matters. I learned from you guys. You challenge me, you help me grow. And I also want to make sure I'm covering things well. So by doing so, engaging with the community helps me with all that. So thank you for being here. Please hit me up in the comments. Be a part of the community. No trolls allowed. We will ban you because trolling sucks. Trolling is for losers. Okay, let me say hey to everybody. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe, and we will get moving here real quick. Welcome Kick, new people on Kick. Welcome X. I can't see your comments because of the streaming software, but I'm glad you guys are here. As for Rumble and YouTube, let's do some shout outs. On the Rums, we got Pixel Snap, Frankie Fran, Accelerate Growth, AZ Tropic, Chrissy Katz, Maui Jimbo, Jocelyn Fegan, and a few others who are holding it down quietly. But welcome, guys, on the tubes here on YouTube. We got Gray Fog numero uno. I like that name, Gray Fog. That works. Nick Majors, Donna M, Toe Cramps here, Marco Sanchez, Rum Dog, Armand Alafonte, Dustin White, Ramona, Action Not Words, Michelle Martin, Tay Tyrus, Barbara, Bax Calentine, Swamp Fuel, Rooster Alice, Gen X Mega, The One, What to Do, Friend, Golden Code, Jim Atkin, Threads, Tie-Dye, Sabbatic, Linsby, Tammy Anderson, oh, I already said Rooster. Sorry, man. Almost got you twice. Rockstar Steve, LED, Dabod Todd, Dan the Man Green, Motley Crue, Mark Maddox, Kevin Tweedy, Bobby Girl, MFN Tango, Kika, and many, many more. Sorry, I can't get to all you guys. It's loading up in here, getting blown out fast in the chat, and that's okay. I love it. I just can't call you all out. I'm sorry. Get here early, you get called out. Already people blowing it up with all kinds of good stuff here. We got the Rum Dog says the states can individually prosecute Fauci and the pardon won't protect him. That is absolutely true. Florida might be number one. I agree with you. I could see that for sure. Rockstar Steve says, I've been following politics since Carter. Your analysis, the best I've ever found next to Rush. You rock. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. I'll continue to try my best to get better. Rush is the North Star. I'll always be chasing him. He was the king for sure. J-Bone from Fresno. That's my old stomping grounds, man. I went to school in Fresno. Thomas Moose says, good day from Alberta. Awesome show with General Holt. Thank you so much. My first show with General Holt is up on Rich Does Politics. I hope you guys check it out. It was an honor, an absolute honor to be with General Holt. My first time being with him. My people have been giving me crap about my hat. Let me straighten it out there. But yeah, General Holt, awesome man. I really, really enjoyed speaking with him. Rich will be putting out 2 videos with me and General Holt. And then I will have more videos coming out with Steve Kuhn this weekend on Rich Does Politics. So be sure to check it out and support Rich's channel. Subscribe over there. He is doing wonderful work, has incredible guests, and it's worth checking it out. Okay, let's see here. Beretta says left is done. They didn't have anything. Walked out. Reminder of who's running the government. People who push jabs and mandates. Well, yeah, we all know it, right? We all know it. So let's get to it, shall we, folks? But as always, guys, I'm a viewer-supported show. So if you want to support the channel, you can join the membership. It's in the description below. Click the Patreon link. Get a free month. Try it out. See if you like it. If you don't, I understand. No harm done, but at least try it out. Try being a part of the Discord community. Try the members live. See if it's worth the joining. Other than that, guys, I will do my best. If you tag me, I will look for your chat in between segments. Try to answer your questions and comments. And if you do want to support the channel, you can always send a super chat, and you'll guarantee to be read, as Freenez has just done, and setting an example for all. Freenez with the $2 super chat says, sharing with more and more people every day. Thank you, Freenez. I greatly appreciate that. So, all right, folks, are you ready to get into it? Because this Fauci stuff is a spicy meatball, and we are going to look at it now. Because, bringing the heat. Rand Paul bringing the heat today. He set all this up. And Fauci is a scumbag. Can we all agree on that? But let's do this. This is a shocking hearing, and revealing, very revealing. So today, this morning, Anthony Fauci is in a hearing with the Senate, and he has chosen to plead the fifth. It doesn't matter, though, because all kinds of other crazy stuff is coming out, and we are going to talk this through about why and how ridiculous it is he's pleading the fifth. But Fauci's having a very bad week. His diary came out this week revealing just what an absolutely egomaniac narcissist this man is, how he lied to us several times during the entire COVID pandemic, and quite possibly is one of the worst human beings in the world. Let's just be honest. But today in his hearing, after receiving a pardon from Joe Biden, in which case he cannot perjure himself, so he should feel free or incriminate himself by his testimony. He should feel free to speak. The fifth should not be able to protect him. And yet he chose to go that route. Very interesting. Here's Rand Paul in the first exchange with Fauci.
Dr. Fauci, were you ever made aware of gain-of-function research on monkeypox being conducted at the National Biodefense Analysis and Countermeasure Center and back at Fort Detrick?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Dr. Fauci, did the CIA ever transfer funds to NIH under an interagency agreement?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
This guy is such a scumbag. And thankfully, Rand Paul wasn't letting it slide.
The chairman has denied your assertion of privilege and directed you to answer, but you nonetheless refuse and stand on privilege despite the existence of the pardon. The committee will have to consider after this hearing what appropriate action should be taken against you for the failure to testify after being directed to do so. It's against the law to obstruct an investigation of Congress. There will be repercussions to your refusal to testify today. Senator Peters.
Very interesting. It's against the law to obstruct. And so now they're looking at another way to go after him, which is excellent. My hope is that Rand Paul follows through on this. It continues to move forward. But again, if pleading the fifth in most cases is basically an admission of guilt. And so that's why this hearing still matters, because he pleaded the fifth, but they weren't letting him go. They weren't letting him leave as a result. So they continue to bring up everything that he'd done or was alleged to have done or been a part of. And so this still is a very, very important hearing. And we're going to get into that in a second. But I do want to show you guys just how ridiculous this recalling or calling out the fifth, pleading the fifth got, because you don't do this unless you're desperate. You don't get this ridiculous unless you're desperate. Even Hillary Clinton wasn't this bad. Listen to this.
The committee, why you chose to fund this dangerous research in China.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
In the red folder on your table is a copy of Section 192 of Title II of the U.S. Code. Your counsel has been provided a copy as well. That section makes it a crime for a witness appearing under subpoena to refuse to answer any questions pertinent to the question under inquiry. Do you have that in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Let the record record that the witness has refused to answer whether there's a folder in front of him based on his Fifth Amendment right. It is true that you're appearing under the committee why you chose.
Unbelievable. It got so wild that they even kicked out his lawyers. Watch this.
But the attorneys are not recognized. In fact, the attorney was told not to sit at the table, and he's not obeying that recommendation. There's a row behind you, sir. That's where you were told to sit, and you're not. And now you're disrupting the proceedings. And so, look, this is the way Anthony Fauci wants to be remembered.
Look at that guy's face. Ooh, what the heck, dude? This is ridiculous.
For a lawyer not listening to the rules. That's the way you want to be remembered, and that's what you're going to do. You are not recognized, sir. Security, please remove him from the room.
Boom. I don't know what Fauci's thinking. This is insane.
I just fear.
This is so crazy. Can you smell desperation and fear? It's insane. I mean, what is Fauci doing here? Maybe he expects the pardon to not completely upheld.
Let the record state that Dr. Fauci will still have the advice of the other half a dozen attorneys that he brought along today.
Rand Paul is not my favorite, but give him credit where credit's due. That was pretty good. But the only thing I can think of that Fauci's trying to gain here is that, well, there's a couple things actually, but number one is, does he not expect the pardon to hold up? That's very possible because they go after him. It could go up to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court could strike it down because of auto pen, because of being a preemptive pardon. There are legal avenues that could be struck down. The other thing is, could it be that he's trying to avoid prosecution by the states? Because this COVID, his advice on COVID affected all of us, all 50 states. And a presidential pardon does not excuse you from state crimes. That's the beauty of federalism. Thank you, founding fathers, for that. The last possibility that I see is the man is just such an absolute insane egomaniac that he doesn't want his celebrity buddies, his media buddies, to hear him admitting what's wrong. That is absolutely a possibility. After reading his diary, we have to believe that actually might be a factor in all this. But regardless, this man is insane. He's evil. He's a narcissistic megalomaniac. And it just, the exposure is, it's a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing to see. And it's all happening at once right now. But folks, I don't think you understand, like most people won't understand what a big deal this actually is. This man was held up as a hero, as one of the icons of the left. One of their, they were selling candles, votive candles with this man's face on it, wearing paraphernalia, Fauci, Fauci friends, whatever, all this crazy stuff. They lionize this man. For him to go down as one of the heroes and just be fallen off his pedestal like this, it's a major shot to the left. And it's also reminding America what we went through because of these people. But that's not the end, folks. It gets even crazier. Here's Bernie Moreno letting Fauci have it.
It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell them all, run for office, run for the United States Senate. Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the fuck do you think you were for doing that?
Woo. Woo.
It is a total disgrace what you did to this country. And if my Democrat colleagues are standing there defending you, I hope the voters of the United States of America watch the clips of every one of you doting on a guy who was more interested in being a celebrity than saving American people. I will make it my mission to make certain that every single one of those Democrats who did that will see that clip over and over and over again. Because there is no defense of what you did. You may have had a 50-plus year legacy of public service, but it ends in total and complete disgrace.
Boom. That's good stuff right there. Bernie Moreno, our new senator from 2024, Ohio. Great guy. Great pickup for us and laying it on him. And then Hawley, he got his in. Here we go.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment because you've been pardoned, as you very well know. As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege. You know that. Your lawyers sitting behind you now shifting nervously in their chairs. They know it. This isn't about the Constitution. This isn't about the law. This is about contempt. Contempt for this body and contempt for the American people. But I think I know why you're doing it. It's because you don't want to answer questions. It's because you did all kinds of terrible things. It's because during the pandemic, you got rich, didn't you? You got rich while people were dying, hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich. And not only were you doing that, you were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally. Cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic.
Wow. No wonder he's pleading the fifth. It's so bad. This guy is so awful. And what he did using COVID is just so despicable. And the thing is guys, they knew they were going to go all out to steal it from Trump, get Biden in. And they thought once they did that, they thought if 2020 they get rid of Trump, it's clear sailing from here. We're going to get Biden in, Kamala's going to succeed him, or somebody else going to succeed him, and it's off to the races. We're going to get it all done. It's pretty clear Fauci did not think he'd ever face consequences for what he did because he was so outright about it. It didn't even try to hide it. Now, Ron Johnson lays into Fauci about ivermectin, and this is fascinating.
Said there's no evidence. There's no evidence that ivermectin is helpful. On that exact same day, and I've got the studies right here. There was a website that was tracking the random controlled studies. Here they are, showing 60, 70% efficacy of ivermectin. The same day you say there's no evidence, there was all kinds of evidence. Loved ones had to go to hospitals, had to sue hospitals. Just, would you try it? So I would want to know, to what extent were you involved in sabotaging hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, and did you do that because you knew the only way you get an emergency use authorization for these drugs, these experimental gene therapy, was if there was no effective treatment, you couldn't get the emergency use authorization. So is that why you helped sabotage these cheap generic drugs in favor of remdesivir, which, by the way, nurses, are you aware of the fact that nurses called it run, death is near?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline.
He knew all of it. He knew all of it. And it would never let them touch any real cures. I remember when Trump came out, was talking about hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, and then they shut it down, made it almost impossible to get. In some states, reported you if you tried to get it online. It was horrific. Looking back, guys, we survived one of the greatest international worldwide traumas in world history. The shakeup of our lives. The rate at which it happened, the effect it had overall, the lost loved ones, all of this. The lost business, the lost money. Our economy still hasn't recovered. What they did to us is, firing squads aren't enough. Death penalty isn't enough for what they did to us. But, we have to leave that in God's hands and hopefully our leaders' hands and see what happens. But if nothing else, at least we're finally getting the truth, and at least we're finally getting exposure to make things better in the long term. People are waking up. COVID, if it brought one good thing out of all the trauma, all the horrifying things they did to us, all the attacks on our Constitution, on our way of life, if anything good came out of it, it's that it woke a lot of people up because it was so ridiculous. And of course, this man didn't want hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin to work. He was too busy trying to make himself rich. As Natalie Winters reports, Anthony Fauci quietly joined a stealth mRNA vaccine startup in 23. The Biden admin awarded more than $28 million to develop vaccines for viruses with pandemic potential, and now Eli Lilly is buying it for up to $1.5 billion. I wonder how much Fauci's stock options are going to be worth in this startup. This is why he didn't care. He didn't want us to know the truth. He was too busy enriching himself, enriching Big Pharma, as he always has done since the 80s, since President Reagan. Yeah, Reagan appointed him. It's one of Reagan's greatest disasters, and there was a few, but this was the biggest one, is that he appointed, because of the effect on our health, by allowing Big Pharma to take over the health industry, by allowing Big Tobacco to take over the food industry. That was all because of Fauci. Fauci has killed more people than most others in history because of his decisions, his desire to be rich, wealthy, and famous. It's killed millions. And it's insane. I mean, here's some more examples that came out, just how evil this man is. Listen to this.
We have learned that U.S. coronavirus researchers at UNC shipped, quote, humanized or transgenic mice to China by around 2017 for use in their dangerous coronavirus work. Under your NIAID coronavirus, researchers also used aborted baby body parts in mice research, and taxpayers paid for them to do that.
Disgusting.
NIH-funded coronavirus researcher Dr. Ralph Barrick and his colleagues at UNC put parts of livers, thymuses, and chunks of human fetal lung that they got from aborted, almost 5-month-old human babies. They put those parts in their research mice.
This is why they
They disgustingly named them BLT mice and wrote they had created a, quote, sandwich of aborted body parts in the mice. Get it, folks? BLT.
Just remember, when you're pro-choice,
A BLT sandwich.
You are, that's a big part of the abortion thing, is to keep our populations down, to control our population, especially the poor population, especially the minority populations. And the other part of it is to conduct horrific experiments with body parts. This is something they've been doing for a long time, folks, and it's starting to come up to the public's eye as Joni Ernst continues to go on about some of the other things he did.
NIH funded putting aborted babies' fingers and scalps off the heads of aborted babies and putting them into the backs of research mice. The scalps later grew fine baby hair in the mice. They even included those disgusting photos in their research paper that you funded. Not all of those were research on coronaviruses, but some were. Thankfully, the current NIH director has said no more of this. Dr. Fauci, yes or no? Do you think that human aborted parts should be put into mice for coronavirus research?
He pleads the fifth.
The advice-
This is what communists do. They don't have any value for human life at all. It's always about the state. It's always about eugenics, controlling the people. They treat us just as they treat animals, just as they treat plants. This is what they want. This is who they are. And we're seeing it through Dr. Fauci, because guess what, folks? The Democrats own this. They own this. They lionized this man. They supported him. They turned him into a hero, into a celebrity. He directly, because of the situation of 2020, he is directly responsible for so much that happened. The Senate, everybody joined behind Fauci and took away as much power from Trump as they could during that time. People want to blame Trump. They have no idea what Trump was up against in the pandemic. It's a miracle we got out the way we did. What he pulled off, looking back, was a miracle. The fact that we didn't stay locked down. And yes, even the push out of the vaccine, which I hate that vaccine. None of my family took it. I never took it. And we knew from the beginning. However, do not forget that if that had not been released when it was, we would have been locked down under Biden. There's a reason why Trump rushed it out, because it was the only way. It was the only way to avoid ruining our lives. And if he hadn't pushed it out when he did, while it was still under his watch, the lockdowns would have continued under Biden. And then Biden at some point would have gotten the vaccine out, and it would have been much, much more evil in how they forced it upon us. So remember all that. Trump never forced anybody to take it. He just got it out there as an excuse to lift the lockdowns. Remember that. But this is the evil we're seeing. Baby parts. They don't care. It's all the same to them. It's all the same to them because communist mentality, the globalist mentality, does not see people or as valuable. They only see themselves. Everybody else is expendable. And this is what we're seeing here. And again, the Democrats own this and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. And more keeps coming out from these diaries as well. Emails show leading officials at NIH, including Fauci, knew the best data indicated no benefit from masks. Why did they proclaim great benefits? Because these officials were not managing a virus, they were managing a population. That's exactly right. Testing us, putting us into a place of submission, seeing if we would accept our rights being taken away. This is what it was all about, and this is why they lied to us so much. Now, there's actually a push right now to cover for Fauci again in the media. Big surprise. As they're saying, we should not have access to his private diaries. Well, Kennedy, thankfully, comes out and smacks it back and says, Cheryl Gay Stolberg gets it wrong again, which is the Fauci diaries in the New York Times and how they're trying to cover for him. Repeatedly describing these documents as his private diaries is inaccurate and misleading. These were not personal journals. They were government records created on a government computer by a federal employee during one of the most consequential public health emergencies in history. Under federal law, these documents belong to the American people. Precision matters. The mischaracterizations predictably fueled outrage among Democrats who have denounced Rand Paul's release of the private diaries. This is important. And it shows you again just what a psychopath Dr. Fauci is. He wrote all of these crazy things about how great it was to be a celebrity and right next to the death numbers and the spread numbers. He did all this on official government computers. This wasn't even him writing his own diary. This is insane. How crazy is this man? How sick is this man? This is the man who told us this.
Anybody who's looking at this carefully realizes that there's a distinct anti-science flavor to this. So if they get up and criticize science, nobody's going to know what they're talking about. But if they get up and really aim their bullets at Tony Fauci, well, people could recognize there's a person there, so it's easy to criticize. Fauci. But they're really criticizing science.
You criticize me, you criticize science. Insanely sick man. It's crazy. It's so crazy. Now, while all this going on, Trump posted this out to make sure everybody's paying attention. Many more people died of COVID under Biden than under Trump. Operation Warp Speed was a spectacular success. And now I know I have to stop for a second. Because, folks, the reason Trump says Warp Speed was a success, it's not because Trump loves the vaccine. And this is a confusing thing for a lot of people. And I've dealt with this a lot because it's clear he didn't. And that's why he never forced it upon one person. That's very important. Okay. Also, and this is not proven, but there is speculation that a lot of the first vaccine that was released was actually just saline solution. And that's why most people didn't get sick until they got the boosters. This we know for a fact, the booster part. And then we've heard reports out of places like Germany that a lot of that first batch was saline solution. So who knows? I can't speak to that 100%, but I can tell you that what it did do is stop the lockdowns. And that's why Trump says this. And that's important to remember. Spectacular success. In fact, many say one of the most successful things ever done by an American president. I overrode Fauci on this. And that's a very interesting phrase right there. I overrode Fauci. In other words, Fauci was trying to hold it back. Ask yourself why the deep state was holding that stuff back. Okay? Again, it's clear. They wanted the lockdowns to continue. If they were going to get Biden in, the whole plan was to create a federal nationwide lockdown. Okay. That was the plan. And that's why they fought Trump on the release early. Because as long as it happened under his watch, he could start removing all the excuses they had to lock us down. All right. So important stuff. Also, I said from the beginning, virus came from Wuhan and China. Fauci disagreed, always trying to protect China. I inherited Fauci, who was there since the 80s, but with each passing day relied less and less on him. He made too many bad calls, like on masks. Remember at the beginning he was anti-masker. He then switched to a super masker. He's the best. In any event, I didn't let him shut the country down, although he wanted to. I went the Federalist way and let the governors decide, and that's true. You know, there is a big psyop pushed, and it's mostly by the Dems and media, to say, well, Trump's the one who shut us all down. Don't forget that. No, he didn't. All he did was 2 weeks to slow the spread, and then we have to reopen. Trump coming out. I remember the day he came out. We have to reopen. We cannot stay shut down. Trump begged the governors to open, pushed them to, and they refused. In any event, I didn't let him shut the country down, although he wanted to. I went the Federalist way. The Republican governors did a much better job than Democrats. Fauci was largely taken out of play, and then along came Sleepy Joe Biden, who made Fauci a king. I called Biden to tell him Fauci was no good. Either didn't have a clue or was dishonest. Call was well received, but sadly not acted on. Biden went on to give Fauci vast destructive power. The rest is history. How much worse would it have been if we'd waited? That's the question. Thankfully now, we have the NIH director, Jay Bhattacharya. NIH is ending dangerous gain-of-function research. Now, the funding was pulled early on in the Trump administration, but now they're fully working to end it across the board. This is good. We're heading in the right direction. But, again, a lot of damage has been done. And if you forget how crazy it was, here's Alex Jones. I have to play this clip because, you know, this is a serious thing, but we got to laugh at some things. And here's a good reminder of how crazy COVID made people, including Alex.
I'll admit it. I will eat my neighbors. I'm not letting my kids die. I'm just going to be honest. My superpower is being honest. I've extrapolated this out, and I won't have to for a few years since I got food and stuff. But I'm literally looking at my neighbors now and going, I'm ready to hang them up and gut them and skin them and chop them up. And you know what? I'm ready. My daughters aren't starving to death. I'll eat my neighbors. See, my superpower is being honest. I'll eat your ass. I will. I'm combat model, optimum self-sufficiency, probably the leader. The point is have you thought about that yet? Because I'm somebody that thought I could fix this, and I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think I like sizing up my neighbor, how I'm going to haul him up by a chain and chop his ass up? I'll do it. My children aren't going hungry. I will eat your ass. And that's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first.
Okay. Okay, Alex. So anyways, listen, folks, I mean, COVID made us all nuts. It really did, but it awoke us, and that is the good. That's the good news. Fauci is going to pay for his crimes one way or the other, in this life or the next. It's happening. What's this man, though, you got to understand, his greatest goal in life was to be rich and famous. We know that from his diaries. That proves it right there. Be rich and famous. That's all he cares about. Oh, I got a call from what's her face? Babs. I got a call from Julia. Why is my brain? Julia Roberts. I got a call from Julia Roberts. I helped walk her through stuff. All he cared about was fame. And now he is going down as one of the great villains of our modern era. Is a form of justice. We're going to continue to watch this because the crimes are going to continue to come out about Fauci. Many of us already knew these things. In fact, many watching right now knew these things, but the public didn't. And that's why this matters. That's why this is speeding up right now. It is also the Democrats' greatest fear that all the things they've built up over the years, trust the science, you got people anti-vaxxers, it's all being exposed right now, right ahead of the midterms. Nothing is coincidental, folks. The timing on this is not coincidence. This is the beginning of the end for the deep state. And we're watching it. Fauci is a perfect emblem of what's coming for the rest of them. And what we need to pray is that they figure out how to get the final justice for this man, however that looks. All right, guys, if you enjoyed that, hit that like and subscribe. Got a lot more coming up. I appreciate you guys watching today. Like, subscribe. Let me get into the chat. Got some catching up to do. I saw a lot of stuff coming in. So Motley Cruel, $5 super chat says, I'm 100% support of Fauci getting some street justice. Oh, that would be fun, wouldn't it? Foundation Preacher with a $2 super chat says, Rand wants not to be massied. We'll get Fauci. You know, Trump put that out there, the Massey massacre, and then about how good Rand Paul's been doing since that happened. So I absolutely think there's something to that. Thank you for the super chats, guys. Sabbatic Witch says a pox on Fauci with $5 super chat. Thank you, Sabbatic. K2 for you with a $10 super chat says, I'm all for giving Fauci to Putin. If we can't do anything to him in the U.S., I say give him to Putin, let him deal with him. I would pay per view to watch his trial in Russia. That'd be wild. What an idea, K2 for you. You've been thinking about this, haven't you? Chio Sab with a $2 super chat says, Alex mad? Globalists miss a payment to him? Well, Alex is always mad. That's how he, that's the, sorry about the dogs. That's a perfect example. Alex going off right here, or when he went off right here about how he keeps and builds his audience. He builds a little bit of trust, a little bit of entertainment, and people keep watching him. And then he sneaks in the lies. That's how they work. And Alex, I gotta say, in a way, he's a master at it. So, I also just saw, what was that? That was, oh man, Doc No with the 10 American Fire gift memberships. Thank you for Doc No for the support of the channel. 10 people have now received memberships to the channel. You guys now have access to the members only lives. Thank you for that, Doc No. Guys, check them out, see what you think, and then you can decide if you want to stay a member afterwards. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the support, guys. You guys are awesome. Let me see if I missed any other tags. It's going to get so much worse for them, guys, as in the next segment, we're going to talk about what's going on worldwide, because it's getting pretty crazy with Iran. And, this is all the globalist freak out, because they know they never, ever wanted this stuff to get out there. The horrific things that happen under these people, the evil, the outright evil, they never wanted this stuff to be exposed. And now it's being exposed as Trump is rolling them back by eliminating their proxies, Venezuela, Iran, working on Cuba, et cetera, crushing the globalist financial system as they keep getting wound back. And then this stuff keeps coming out at the same time. It's what Trump is doing, what he's having been done right now, is an all-out offensive on everything globalist. And it's beautiful to see. And it will yield results. Christina Abbott with a $7 super chat. Thank you so much for that, Christina. She didn't even ask anything. Wow. Put up a poll. How many are vaccinated? Okay, that's a good idea. And listen, guys, this is not for judgment. Okay? How many took the COVID vaccine? Just, it's yes or no. Nobody's going to see your name attached to it. But I am interested in how many took it, because you guys are based people, and I want to know how far the lie, how effective it was even on based people. And would love to see this. So if you don't mind answering that poll, that would be awesome. Hina Hosa with an eagle. Thank you for that, sir. Somebody said that, don't blame Reagan. He didn't know how bad Fauci was. I understand that. I do. I don't think Reagan purposely put a psychopath in control of our health. I don't think he did that. I do believe he still has to be held accountable for the fact he didn't do his due diligence. Okay. That, I think Reagan was a patriot. I really do. I think Reagan was a patriot. I think he wanted what's best for America. I think he hated communism. I think he hated the deep state, the globalists, but his hands, like, he got shot early in his administration, and that either put fear into him, or had him back off a little bit, because some of the things he did, there's no excuse for. Fauci, he could have done more research. He allowed amnesty to 3.5 million illegals, which basically kind of ruined California. He signed the bill that allowed for vaccine makers to not be sued, to not be held liable for vaccine injuries. So there's a whole lot of things that Reagan did that were bad, along with what he did what was good, which he did a lot of good for the economy. He obviously helped break the Soviet Union. So, you know, he did wonderful things. Again, I think Reagan was a patriot, but it does not excuse what he did that was wrong. And just, you know, when Trump screws up, I'll call him out on it too. There were things in Trump's first presidency, but again, you know, his first term especially, I grant that Reagan was, you know, I mean, he had a former CIA director as his vice president. Okay, the deep state was deeply embedded with Reagan, and he wasn't able to overcome it. Not in every angle. So listen, I'm not somebody who hates Reagan. I just look at him soberly, and I don't look at him as I used to as a superhero, because Reagan still left us with a lot of problems that that he could have fixed or prevented. And whatever reason he didn't, I don't know. But again, I don't think Reagan was a bad person. I just think he wasn't able to overcome some of the things he was dealing with. And so he can't, you know, we just can't, the narrative that Reagan was the greatest president ever, or like the great Republican president, great conservative president, there's some truth to that, but it's just Trump's been far better there. And that's from an objective analysis. If you're a conservative, if you're a true conservative, Trump has been a much better president than Reagan. He's been better on the economy, as he's done what Reagan did, but more. Ending free trade, Reagan kind of set us up for that. Trump is deporting and ending immigration like as it was, whereas Reagan, again, amnestied a bunch of people. Trump is breaking big pharma, getting drug prices down. So everywhere Reagan failed, Trump is succeeding. Trump's defeating communism just as Reagan did. So, you know, it needs to be said. Trump's a far better president than Reagan, and Reagan was fine, and Reagan was a good president. Okay. It's just important to be honest about this. Okay. Let's see here. Don Schlonger says, Wayback Machine entry of mRNA vaccines from early 2019 said it was a useless and dangerous medical tech abandoned by all serious institutions because of bad efficacy. Yeah, the mRNA stuff does not do what they want it or what they say it does. What it does is terrible things. mRNA is actually a poison. And that's the real truth behind mRNA. $20 super chat just came in from Blue Eyes. Thank you so much for your support here. It says you can be criminally charged under a state, even if you've reached a federal pardon for exact same conduct. Under Article 2, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution has no authority over state level laws. Amen. And hopefully some states take that avenue. Well, also, I hope he's federally indicted and they challenge it and take it up to the Supreme Court. I would love to see what they do with the whole whether or not you can sorry, my dogs are going nuts. I'm sorry, guys. Hopefully my kids get to them. Trying to pardon somebody preemptively. I don't think that's legal, even if it wasn't auto-penned, which it also was. So that's another aspect of that. Inspire Peace with the gifted membership. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you. Okay, let's see. So far, 76% of people didn't get the vaccine. That's amazing. You guys, and to the 24% who did, listen, you were under one of the greatest psyops of all time. It sucks that you took it, but at the same time, it doesn't mean you were stupid or anything like that. It just means you know, the psyop got to you. The overwhelming pressure got to you. And chat, thank you, Kevin, says no tax on tips. That's right. That's huge. No tax on tips is massive. Okay. Let me stay in the chat for a couple more minutes. I'm waiting for my dogs to shut up and my kids to take care of it. And then I'll move on to the next segment here. So let me keep viewing the chat for a second here. I might have to go get my son, who is doing a very poor job of keeping the dogs quiet right now. Usually he's really good at it. So let me make sure he's not. I usually don't have this problem. Usually my kids, my son does a good job keeping the dogs quiet. And sorry, guys. One of the many with a $2 super chat says lots of people had to choose vax or a job. That's exactly right. And that is a situation you never should have had to deal with. Inspire Peace says, you're welcome, but I'm a woman. I'm sorry, Inspire Peace. You know, I do this a lot. It is very, very difficult to, apparently a plumber is over here and that's why my dogs are going nuts. Okay. I didn't think they were coming over. I was told they weren't coming, but whatever. All right. Well, apparently now my wife has to deal with that. I'm sorry. Okay. What I was going to say is, my tendency always is to say, man, it's how I speak to friends, how I speak to strangers. And, I'm not on mute. I'm not on mute. I'm not on mute, guys. Sorry. No, I'm not. My sound left? Can anybody hear me or am I out for everybody? Let me know if the sound's fine. Sound is fine, guys. See, refresh. Dog noise. Yeah. Anyway, I was just saying, sorry about the man thing. I can't tell who's who. Yeah. See, everybody's saying my sound is good. So Kevin Cumberland says, these are tips. Thanks, man. I truly hope they're considered tips when my tax bill comes. All right. Okay. It looks like they finally got it settled in, folks. So we can move on. All right. I told you I'd make up. I told you I'd make up for you guys in the chat today, and that's what I'm doing. But all right. So while all this is going on with Fauci, we're getting exposure with Biden, etc. I see all the laughs coming in. You guys are making me laugh. This is the live show, folks. Live. It's like Saturday Night Live when they'd screw up a skit and be laughing. That's what's happening to me right now. That's what's happening to me. I am I'm dealing with the laughter and the mistakes. Live show. You guys, welcome to my reality. I work at home. I have 6 kids. I have 2 stupid dogs that I love, but they are stupid. And my wife is in online. She's on an appointment on her computer. Yeah, it's this is my reality, folks. Welcome to my reality. And just let you guys know how I pull off this show every day. You guys are getting an insight into it. And but I appreciate you. You guys are the best. You are. They scared the demons away. Anyways, I love my stupid dogs. I love them, but they are very annoying. Well, even if you guys can't hear them, I can hear them, and it's very distracting. Anyways, shall we move on, folks? Shall we move on? All right. Okay. God, hold on. I got to gather myself. There they go again. All right. So I often say, guys, that timing is never coincidental. It's never coincidental. And that's because as a man of faith, I believe that even if the people don't mean it, timing wise, God does. And so I think timing is always fascinating to pay attention to. What's happening right now? We have Fauci in a hearing, all this exposure coming to him. We have Joe Biden's tapes coming out. We have the communists causing a civil war in the Democratic Party. All this is happening at once. And what happens in the same week? Oh, yeah, by the way, election fraud. The intelligence community is down 30% because Pulte firing them. We have all the documents being declassified. All this is happening. And what happens in the midst of all this? while Trump has given a pause on Iran, well, they decided to go ahead and attack. They attacked us with a secret attack last night, and it didn't work. At 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time today, which is yesterday, the IRGC forces launched multiple ballistic missiles from Iran, an attempted surprise attack on U.S. forces based in the Middle East. All Iranian missiles were successfully intercepted. Can we just laugh for a minute at Douglas McGregor, Scott Ritter, all the died suddenly crowd, all these grifters, all these liars who posed this whole wait till Iran launches a super duper hypersonic secret missiles that could destroy us all. How about when they do that? They're waiting. They're waiting. Well, I think we can officially say they're no longer waiting, because this was a surprise attack. So this was Iran finally going, we're going after you. And we intercepted them all. I'm just telling you guys, they have nothing. They can't even pull off a secret surprise attack. They have Timu missiles from China. Everything we've been taught about Iran has been a lie. At least when it came to how strong they are, how they would pull in Russia and China, World War III, how you can never attack Iran. Everything we were ever taught that was fear-based, that was intimidating about Iran, has turned out to be a lie our entire lives. And that continues to be apparent. Every single day we're in this. And the one thing it did, though, is it really pissed Trump off. And I think Trump has been trying to be nice to them. And he doesn't want the people to suffer. He has been constantly, even when we attacked, even when we ramped up, then we back off, we give a breather. We try to give a little way out, because Trump knows that the people don't support this IRGC. As we covered yesterday, the IRGC is basically a financial unit that pays its military. It's a military built on money. It's not a nationalist unit. It's not a bunch of patriots for Iran serving them. No, it's just a bunch of paid soldiers. And they are funded by shadow banking from City of London. Yes, they're a proxy. And that's who's in control of Iran. Trump has been trying to give the people every opportunity to weed them out while weakening them. And now he's pissed. He's pissed at these guys because they are so weak and pathetic, and they just won't accept it. They're going down with the ship. But here's the latest from Trump on this.
President Trump speaking to Fox just moments ago about the U.S.-Iran conflict. Trey Ying says the information. Trey, what did the president tell you?
Yeah, guys, good morning. President Trump reacting to that Iranian attack on U.S. forces overnight in Jordan. President Trump tells Fox News about Iran, we are going to beat the effing S out of them. He went on to say, we'll be hitting them hard. They're going to get a beating. So clearly the United States is going to respond to what the president described as a surprise attack. He says U.S. forces had just minutes to shoot down these incoming Iranian ballistic missiles. The president says he has reviewed video of the shoot down, and it was U.S. forces conducting this operation to defend that area. He said it was real time. They were calling out coordinates and ensuring that none of this incoming Iranian fire got through.
President Trump speaking to Fox.
Beat the effing S out of them. Folks, what's coming next, I think, now Trump has the full go-ahead, because now they've attacked us. They've attacked us now, unprovoked. We were in a quiet period, 3-4 days of quiet, and now they've attacked us. So now Trump has the full go-ahead to do everything he needs to do militaristically. Senate can't stop him now. We've been attacked. It's all out now. And what's interesting about this is, again, the timing. We're watching the deep state just falling apart. Iran is almost done. It's at the end stage. I mean, we have even UK, the base, City of London, the leaders of this whole globalist sphere calling the IRGC a terrorist organization now, which they never did before. That is the sign off. That is we have to let these go. They're on their own, but they're not going to stop because they don't know how to stop. These people, they know, like, once they lose power, they're never gaining it back because of where we're at, what Trump is doing in the sovereigntist globalist war we're in. He is building these borders so effectively, creating new alliances so effectively, peeling back the globalist tentacles so effectively that they will take decades to come back, even if the next president doesn't follow through, because this foundation is being so repealed. And again, the other part of it is the people are more awake now than ever. More awake than ever. We have more access to information than ever. To repeal, to undo what Trump is doing is going to take a very long time. And that's why their desperation is. That's why their heels are digging in. They cannot lose this. Iran is the key to the Middle East, keeping the destabilization. But as it's so important to recognize, the real war going on here that's effectively winning is not just the bombings, it's actually the financial war. And here's a wonderful article just put out about how the blockade is winning. This is Trump's blockade on Iran. Because now the U.S. and Saudi Arabia are carrying out publicly announced joint airstrikes. This is because of what happened the other night. Saudi Arabia is now joining us in striking Iran. That's a big deal. Saudi Arabia is truly the most powerful nation in the Middle East. They're the richest by far. And we haven't seen the full capabilities of their military, but they are strong. And if Trump working with Saudi Arabia, this means it's that much closer to Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords, which will be the final nail in the coffin for sealing off the Middle East from globalist influence, is getting Saudi Arabia onto the Abraham Accords. But they're fighting now with Saudi Arabia, killing at least 20 fighters. Operation followed more than 80 drone attacks on U.S. forces and Saudi energy infrastructure over the past 72 hours, and came just hours after Iran fired ballistic missiles in Jordan at U.S. bases. Saudi Arabia putting its name on combat operations against Iran's proxy network changes the pressure on the Islamic regime in a way that another round of American strikes would not. For decades, Islamic regime built militia networks across Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen, specifically to avoid facing a broad regional coalition willing to use force openly. The buffer's thinner than it's been in years. Coalition enforcing the blockade and degrading Iran's proxies is no longer solely American. This is important. We've been being told that we're in this alone, but it's not true. The Middle Eastern countries love what we're doing. They love what Trump is doing. They've tasted sovereignty. They've had a glimpse of a different world for them, and they say yes. Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, they're all starting to join in on this. The airstrikes and missile exchanges dominated the news cycle. Blockade is inflicting a deeper wound. Iran entered the war with a collapsing economy. Iran's economy was deteriorating long before the first bomb dropped. Per capita income fallen from roughly $8,000 to about $5,000 in 2024. Nobody was talking about this. Now it makes even more sense why Trump struck when he did. Their economy was already very weak. Not only have we had a world of inflation, but their wages were down almost 50% in 12 years. The real halved between July 24 and March 25 and breached 1.45 million to the dollar on New Year's Eve. Food inflation climbed above 70% during 2025, all before the war. When the war started, the Islamic regime briefly benefited. It closed the strait while continuing to export its own crude, pushing oil above 90, at times beyond 100. The IEA described it as the largest supply disruption in the history of global oil markets, but Trump beat that quickly. Now their industrial base is gutted. International Monetary Fund projects Iran's economy will contract 6% this year, while inflation is at 69%. These are the official numbers. It means, honestly, it's probably much worse. Highest level since the 1979 revolution. Folks, that's not on accident. This is to make the people so miserable they take back their country. Capital flight reached $27 billion during 25, roughly 7% of the country's economy, while foreign investment was just $1.6 billion. That is insane. Their auto manufacturing is down 47%, washing production down 42%, televisions down 36%, petrochemical output shrank 17%. Their oil output way down. Here, the target was the blockade itself. Iranian officials tied to the IRGC aerospace force have repeatedly described maritime enforcement as existential threat to the regime. You want to know who's suffering? Listen to them. This is the truth, folks. This is why, like, don't listen to what they put out there. Their Lego videos, which Alex Jones is now, and Candace Owens are now celebrating, saying, like, look at how great this is. Let's hire their team. Man, those Iranians really know how to propagandize. This is, once you understand this and once you understand what Trump's doing, you understand why all assets have been deployed, why the globalists are freaking out about this, why NATO is this is the first war they were not going to be a part of. And what it tells you is that Trump's knew exactly what the worst case scenario was for Iran, is doing it. Missile strikes sought to raise the cost of maintaining naval operation. Every interception consumes expensive air defense interceptors. Every attack forces additional force protection measures. Every escalation requires more intelligence assets, naval patrols, and coordination with regional partners. Islamic regime is betting those costs will eventually outweigh the political will to sustain the campaign. But Trump's already proven it hasn't. And by the way, the way Trump's fighting this war, because we haven't deployed troops, it's much less expensive than other military offensive have been. Much, much less expensive. And when you factor in the money we're making off selling the oil at the higher prices, what was it, 2 months ago? We looked at what Scott Bessent said we'd made $25 billion off the war. The Trump administration knows what it's doing. First publicly announced U.S. and Saudi strikes against Iranian proxies pointing the opposite direction. Rather than narrowing the coalition and forcing pressure on the Islamic regime, is expanding. Rather than narrowing, the coalition is expanding. Saudi Arabia has now publicly accepted the political and military costs of participating against Iran's proxy network inside Iraq. Trump saw little sign the campaign was nearing an end. Speaking to Fox News after missile attack, he said the U.S. would beat the effing S out of them and hit them hard. We're going to let them keep talking, he says. Iran's militias have demonstrated they're willing to strike Saudi energy infrastructure. Whether that pressure intensifies is no longer a central question. More important variable is whether the coalition continues accepting the cost required to keep the blockade in place. And I believe it will. And I believe they're terrified of it, which is why they're sending out nonsense like this. The Economist, one of the number one globalist news sources, news magazines, I should say, put this out today. Unless traffic through the Strait of Hormuz resumes soon, oil prices could top the 139 high of 2022 after Russia's invasion and rise towards 150 a barrel by September, warns one expert. Trust the experts, guys. Yeah, they've been saying this the whole flipping time. Oil, even with this increased pressure, even with the increased strikes, we are hovering right around 80 right now. That's not going to climb much higher, guys. It can't. Intensity is at its highest. It doesn't get much more intense than partnering with Saudi Arabia and blasting them. We're not going to see it go. This is all fear-mongering. This is to scare the American people. And it's no wonder the American people as a whole don't understand what Trump's doing, because this is coming from every angle. All these lies. It's not difficult, but you have to know what you're doing to find real information. How these people are falling apart and how Iran is getting its butt whooped. But there are signs of panic everywhere, not just in Iran, but with the globalists at large. Look at what's happening right now. The globalists right now, there's wildfires happening everywhere. And as Alex Craner writes, the panic satanic oligarchy is literally setting the world on fire rather than yielding to the gathering changes of global order. Look at this. This is Canada, where these wildfires are starting to push through, and it's been proven they're already from vandalism. But look at how much it's covering. The smoke. All Pacific Northwest and Canada. Here is what's happening. Interestingly enough, it's all, for the most part, in the Commonwealth of Canada, which is all globalist controlled, and in the left coast Other than Idaho and Montana, this is all, I guess Utah, but Utah is pretty establishment. But look at that. Look at the fires everywhere. But it's not just here, folks. It's happening in Spain. Spain, one of the deepest left nations. Look at that. Coincidence is all happening at once? This is crazy stuff. Are they willing to just burn it all down? Tom Luongo writes, they're literally in burn it to the ground mode. Here's France.
En feu depuis le 6 juillet dernier, un crime puni de 15 ans de réclusion criminelle, c'est ce qu'a...
Yesterday, French media reporting 162 arrests so far for starting fires. Huh. All at the same time? All globalist areas? Coincidence much? I don't think so. This is pretty obvious to me. Panic is setting in, guys, and the more they're pushed back, the crazier things will get in their areas. Because the one thing you should be heartened by in all this is that this isn't happening in the areas that are sovereign. It's not happening in most red states. It's definitely not happening in the South, Texas, Florida. This is happening in their areas. And they are trying to use it to propagandize. Climate change, it's here, we're dying. This is desperation. They don't have the money anymore for riots and protests. That's all dried up. They don't have the money even for their own Democratic Party, as the DNC is in debt, leveraging their own headquarters to take on loans. It's all being pushed back. Trump taking troops out of NATO, putting the pressure to end Ukraine war, ending Iran. We're going to see more and more of this as they run out of options. And so burn it down. Get crazy. This is nuts, but it's what they do. It's what they do. Because things are getting so bad, the people are starting to wake up. In France now, they're at the point they're actually shutting down radical mosques calling for the killing of infidels. This is in France. They're finally starting to take care of their people just a little bit, but it's the beginning of something, right? It's the beginning of something. We'll see if it continues. If the people rise up, they can take it back. That's what we're doing here in the States. We are rising up. We chose a leader to fight back, and he's doing so. And as he's doing so, the globalists are panicking. Seeing this more and more. Cynical Publius wrote this as a sober reminder of where we're at. It says, most Americans have no idea how close we were to losing our country via losing our military. The hard power. Because if you have the hard power, the soft power ultimately can't win. DEI is a variation on Marxism where immutable characteristics like race or gender substitute for economic class in dividing a society. DEI had become so deeply entrenched in the senior ranks of our military that it become our core competency. Orders of magnitude more important than fighting and winning wars. We didn't need Soviet-style commissars because the senior uniformed leaders had so thoroughly inculcated the corrupt ethics of DEI they were on sort of a neo-Marxist autopilot. Fabian Society. This was the Fabian takeover, attempted takeover of our military, but we stopped it. 24 election saved us in the nick of time, almost to the point where it feels like divine intervention. It doesn't feel like it, folks. It was. It was. God saved us. And again, timing is not, we weren't ready when Trump took his first term. We weren't ready. That's why we needed the 4 more years to be reminded how bad it could be. And that's what woke us up enough to take it back, to give Trump a more MAGA Congress, not all the way there, but a little bit more, to give him full control, more people that would serve him well in his administration. And look at how much more is getting done this time around. It was divine. We were given a break. God gave us an opportunity to take our nation back. And now the question is, what do we do going forward? What do we do now and going forward? Do we let it go? Do we say, oh, thanks for nothing. We're going to just, move on. we're going to just assume that this is, going to last even if we don't get involved. Or are we going to make sure it lasts? The institutional resistance you see daily from unnamed sources close to defense establishment are the desperate death throes of men and women who know they're losing the battle America elected Trump to fight. And it's true. They're losing. That's why the fires. That's why propaganda like this nonsense. That's why they do it. Every anonymously sourced report you ever encounter regarding America's military must be understood through this prism. And it's true. Oh, we're running out of ammo. Yeah, if you believe that, I don't know what to tell you. And while all this is going on, the Trump team just put this out. Unfortunately, I can't play the music because it's copyrighted, but I'll play the video. Trump finished this fight. Trump walking out, looking bad to the A. We're winning too much. I love it. See, guys, this is the energy we need. And I don't think our president, I don't think his team has any thoughts of losing, giving up, taking their foot off the gas. I don't think that at all. I think this is going to be something seen through to the end. I really do. We're going to win this battle. And after we win it, the question is, what are we going to do as winners? What are we going to do going forward? But we are going to finish this fight. And what's going on in Iran, it's pretty obvious, is a big deal to the globalists. That's why they won't stop. But at some point, they'll be forced to. Hopefully the people rise up. But again, folks, this burn it all down mentality, it's exactly who they are. And these wildfires are perfect, a perfect example of exactly what their mindset is. We will go down till the end. We'll burn it all down if we have to, because we don't want to leave it behind. Thankfully, they are few and we are many. So whatever they do, they're not going to be able to burn it all down, not on our watch. We won't allow it. And we have a president who understands that. Thank God. All right, folks, hit that like and subscribe if you like that segment. We got much more to get to, including the election stuff, midterm updates, so on and so forth, election integrity updates. But we'll get to that in a minute. First, I do want to get back into the chat. I did see some super chats come in, so I want to recognize those real quick and then catch up with the rest of you who tagged me and tried to get my attention. Kevin says, sound never wavered. $2 super chat. Thank you, Kevin. I didn't think so. It wasn't. I can see usually when I'm muted, and it wasn't. Dumb American love tie. What? $5 super chat says the Democrats lost the appeal with the ballots, so it'll get pushed to the Supreme Court. Democrats are cooked. I agree. I think they're in big trouble, and I'm going to show you more reasons why in the next segment. So don't leave yet. Moody says, I have lots of cold beer available for any American liberator that shows up in Canada. We're praying for you, Moody. We would love our Canadian neighbors to get freedom. Abso-freaking-lutely. Bucko says, Fauci's getting grilled by Hawley at this point. It seems like he invoked the fifth on almost everything. He did. Yeah, we covered that. But I know I'll have more to cover tomorrow for sure. Bruce says, toughest thing to do now is stay positive. You watch the left implode and eat themselves. Early celebration makes for an inevitable loser. Never been better, right, Schumer? Yeah, don't celebrate early, but at the same time, we can have a good time while we're winning, because joy is our strength. And that makes us different from them. They are run by hate. We can be powered by joy. That is why President Trump is always positive and joyful. And look how much he wins. He's taught us the truth of how you truly win. And we need to follow his example. He knows. Let's see here. Rumdog says, words like could is a red flag. Statements after vague words like that are usually false. You mean on the propaganda? Yes, it is. They're, coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? Doesn't tell us much at all. Moody says it's all planned. Setting fires force people out of towns and rural areas into 15-minute cities. Well, right. I mean, yeah, I would agree with you if they were in charge, Moody. And in Canada, they still kind of are in charge, right? But what I'd say is that they're losing. They're losing so badly that right now the fires are not about 15-minute cities. They're about desperation. They're about trying to freak us out, trying to make us make mistakes, trying to get us distracted. That's what it's about. When they're losing, it's same tools, different reasons behind the tools. And that's what's going on right now. Good stuff, guys. I love this chat. You guys are the best. Let's see on the poll here. I'm going to end the poll, 414 votes and 77% did not get vaxxed. That's huge. Very awake crowd here. And again, to the 23% who did, God bless you. You did it for your job. You did it because you believe the lies, whatever. Doesn't mean you're stupid or a bad person. We all have things we've done that we regret, and we all have lies we believed at one time or another. Linda says, I was ready. I was all in Trump in 2016, but it seemed like the only one around was me. Now people are saying you were right, Linda. Yeah, exactly. Some of us were early. It's very true. But many more now are. We have what we need now. Okay, we have what we need. We're not going to lose. We refuse to lose. And so we're just not going to let it happen. Let's see here. Hawley's your senator, Kevin says. Awesome. I like Josh Hawley. Although sometimes he does some stuff I really hate. Sometimes he really does say stuff I hate. Katie, who I trust greatly, says, I work for the Forest Service. They are not planned. Which part's not planned? The planned burns, all this happening at once? Or does this mean in the areas you're looking at? Oh, don't worry. I steer clear of all mRNA. mRNA to me is basically just might as well say poison. No mRNA will ever enter any of my family members, my pets, anything. Black pills given to communism, 100%. Rumdog says, my buddy just retired, wants to move to Spain. I'm trying to tell him not a good idea. He says money goes further. Your money goes further in a lot of places. My wife and I looked at Portugal, which is a much better opportunity than Spain, not to live there permanently, but to maybe spend like 3 years so we could travel Europe and see the sights. Listen, I'm like Trump. I deep down, even though I hate the globalist system, I hate everything the Euros have done, I still love Europe for its history. And because that's my history. I'm half Austrian, half Russian. That's my history. I want to explore Europe. I love the idea of traditional Europe, and I'd still want to tour it and see it. But yeah, if you're going to make, and this was, a dreaming kind of thing my wife and I were talking about maybe years down the road. But the point is Portugal is a much better option than Spain. And Spain is much more commie. And you basically get the same thing. But it's true. The American dollar goes much further in other countries. In fact, there's a lot of people who now retire in other countries because they still get their Social Security, but they can live in other countries and make it stretch much further. It's sad but true. But I think that's going to start changing here. Not that things will get, not that we're going to ever become the cheapest place to live, but it'll become easier to live here and better. So. Monica says, my husband's very, very liberal. I followed him, but now I pray he listens to me so he can lead us to church. I predict gas prices. He hates it. All you can do is keep saying things and keep, being proven right. And at some point they'll have to admit they're wrong. You live it. When it's with a spouse, you can't argue them into believing you. I get it. I totally understand. I used to deal with that a lot when I was in church counseling people, but just love them. Just love them. And see where that goes. So, okay, let's get into it, folks. We got so much more to get into here. So much to get into. It's a full day of news. poor forest management policy created by the left. Yeah, all that has a part to do with it. Absolutely. And sometimes the planning is not that they're going to send somebody out to set the fire. Sometimes the planning is that they on purpose set up the conditions for it to happen, which is like not clearing out the forest. They do this in California. 100% in California. They like it. They like the constant state of emergency that the forest fires cause. Not the people, not the forest fighters, but the governor and the state politicians do. Because they keep getting government money. They can keep pushing the climate scam. All of that. They keep doing it. And that's why, they keep the conditions set so that they can have their fires keep happening. This is all a part of it. It's disgusting. It's horrific. It really is. But, they don't care about people, as Anthony Fauci demonstrated. So, okay, let's get into it. So, guys, we are very close to being within 100 days of midterms. I think it's 103, 104 days right now. And as this ramps up, we're going to start seeing things get pretty crazy, as if they're not already, right? Exposure of Fauci, exposure of Biden, Iran war going up, the wildfires. Everything looks crazy right now, but we haven't seen nothing yet. And with this 100-day window, we keep getting a lot of wins, and things are trending for Trump and the Republicans they're trending in a good way for them, way ahead of schedule. This should not be happening this early because the money hasn't even been spent yet. Well, we just got a major win for election integrity as the DC Court of Appeals affirmed the denial of Democrats' attempt to block Trump's executive order on mail-in voting rules. This empowers the USPS to limit mail-in voting, to back it up, to track the mail-in ballots, to make sure that there's actual citizens receiving them. The Democrats are terrified of this. Now, Trump has asked for the Supreme Court to give a final ruling on it so that it stands no matter what. But in the meantime, it's still being upheld by the DC Court of Appeals. So it's continuing. Trump's, as long as this is held up, I think this gives us enough cover to know that the elections, even though they'll still try, even though there'll still be some rigging, the mail-in ballot part will be significantly limited. And why is that important? Well, oops, wrong one. Sorry, guys. Because of this. Some states use mail-in voting to completely control their elections. Here's the highest percentage ones. Oregon, 99%. Washington, 98%. Hawaii, 92%. The left coast, folks, does that surprise anybody? They are locking in their elections with all these mail-in ballots. Surprisingly, Utah's up there. Well, what did we just learn about Utah? Utah is one of the biggest rhino Republican strongholds. This is where establishment Republicans thrive. MAGA Republicans don't do well in Utah. Utah is completely controlled by the establishment. They are the controlled opposition. The original globalist wing of the Republican Party is very strong in Utah. This makes perfect sense. Colorado, how did a once thriving red state go purple and then completely blue? Well, there you have it. California, enough said. Arizona, one of the reddest states that continually somehow votes in Democrat senators and governors. That makes no sense. Registration in Arizona, Republican, is like 5 to 7% more Republican. This should be a state that should easily be won by Republicans every single time. And yet, it's not. Vermont, blue. Indiana. What did we just find out about Indiana? Well, completely establishment run. And then Trump primaried them all, kicked them all out. They refused to redistrict because they're a bunch of establishment bushy Republicans. Well, it makes sense, doesn't it? And then DC, 51%. Of course it is. It's 93% Democratic. Makes sense, right? See, all of these states are either dark blue or red states controlled by the establishment wing of the Republicans. The Bush-McCain wing. Arizona, all McCain. Utah, hardcore establishment, Bush wing. You guys think the Mormons, like there's not some shady stuff going on there with the whole church controlling it, the state? No, there is. Indiana, again, was proven, but then Trump just defeated them. So, but it makes sense. This is where they're all locked in. This is why what Trump is doing is so important. Now, while that's being held up, we're getting some momentum on the SAVE Act again, as even John Thune came out and said, well, maybe we can get some of this through reconciliation. That was a huge admittance from him. It tells me the pressure's working. And Trump posted this last night. Senator Ron Johnson, who's one of the good ones, is working hard with Senate Republican leadership to adopt a budget resolution before August recess. This is the first step towards getting as much of the Save America Act as possible in a budget bill, funding our troops, helping our farmers. I'm calling on the Senate to get this critical first step done before August recess. This resolution can be adopted as a simple majority threshold. This is how we get around the filibuster. Get it done. Good luck, John Thune, excusing this one. The pressure is mounting. And senators are starting to step up against their own establishment wing. 10 Republican senators now say skip the August recess. Mike Lee, Rick Scott, Tuberville, Banks, Moody, Darlene Graham, Bill Hagerty, Katie Britt, Todd Young, Marsha Blackburn. Sad to me that Hawley is not on there, Moreno. Hopefully they'll join. But if you guys want to know who the very few senators we have that are actually MAGA-ish, well, there you go. We'll see who else joins. Notice Ted Cruz isn't on there. That's interesting. That's funny. Because this has got to get fixed, guys. Here's how bad all this is. 24 senators are from states with more registered voters than eligible voting age citizens. That is a tell right there that we have massive fraud. Of course, there's a lot of blues. We expect that, right? And some of the worst ones: Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, Chris Coons, Ossoff, Warnock. That's how a blue state or a red state turns blue. Insane. Chris Van Hollen, Michael Bennett Hickenlooper. That's a Colorado, a red state that turned blue. But then look at the red states, senators, and you kind of get an idea of how this establishment wing survives. Murkowski and Sullivan, Alaska. Murkowski's terrible. Sullivan's not bad. McConnell, Rand Paul, Kentucky. What the heck, man? You're a dark, dark red, super MAGA state, and yet you're letting the Rhino Republicans run the place. John Thune and Mike Round, South Dakota, again, deep, dark red MAGA state. And this is how they keep the establishment wing in, by cheating in the elections. Yes, Republicans cheat too. It's just not the good Republicans. And then finally Maine, which is split, Susan Collins, Angus King, which again, a Rhino is better than a Democrat, but not much. If you got to take one, you take the Rhino, but you don't have to like it. Susan Collins, again, is awful, but she's awful and still better than the alternative. But there you go, folks. That explains a lot, doesn't it? More registered voters and eligible voting age citizens. Get those extra votes in. Get them in. The pressure continues to mount in New Jersey after they admitted they have a bunch of illegals on their voter rolls. New Jersey's non-citizen voter registration scandal got significantly wider. Roughly 75,000 non-citizens summoned for jury duty. How terrifying is that? You guys want to go to your hearing and know that illegal aliens are going to be determining whether you're guilty or not? Do you think they care? Do you think they care about the rules? That's insane, folks. That is a lot of people's rights being infringed upon with that. GOP lawmakers now demanding bipartisan investigation with subpoena power after years of being dismissed as conspiracy theorists for raising alarms about automatic voter registration safeguards. Senator Christine Corrado says the state relied on honor system, signs telling non-citizens not to register. Yeah, that works. That's like gun-free zone. Those signs really work, right? And the repeated warnings to top officials were brushed off. Democrat Senate President wants to wait for Governor Sherrill's own internal probe to finish. Yeah, okay. But again, folks, they made a big mistake. Mickey Sherrill made a huge mistake for the Democrats, for the deep state, by admitting they had an issue at all, because now all eyes are on Jersey. And now nobody can deny that these are issues. Even Mark Halperin over on Two Way, who is, my favorite fake unbiased reporter to listen to, because the show itself is actually pretty good, tells you what they're thinking anyways. But even he's like, whoa, we have to take this seriously, when for years all he said was, this isn't widespread. Yeah, now they have to cover it. That's bad news for them. And the State Department, the Justice Department isn't messing around. Today, informed Harmy Dillon, New Jersey will not provide the personal information of thousands of New Jersey residents. That's from Mickey Sherrill. She's not playing along. And Jesus Acete, civil rights under leadership of Harmy Dillon, he's number 2, says challenge accepted. Let's take it to court, folks. Trump administration has a great record in the courts, actually, overall. And you can tell they're panicking. Here's Jamie Raskin. The guy who said if Trump becomes president, we might have to initiate a civil war. We can't let him become president. Yeah, he said that before the 24 election. This guy, he's one of the worst, but you can clearly tell there's panic in the Democratic Party as he lets us know.
Congressman, have the House leadership, have Hakeem Jeffries or others, or you participated in or held similar doomsday exercises, as Schumer termed them, that relate to the elections?
Well, sure. We're talking about this kind of stuff all the time because, look, I'm out campaigning in the country, Casey, and I'm seeing huge surging enthusiasm for Democratic candidates all over America. I'm here with my friend Josh Riley right now, Blake Gendabine next. I'm in upstate New York, but we see no evidence of Republican activity anywhere. I don't even see MAGA hats anymore, which makes me afraid that they're just focused on trying to undermine the election or take the election through some kind of strategic mischief.
They're starting the narrative. This is how you know they're panicking. Start the narrative. Republicans are rigging the elections. They're planning on undermining it. They're planning on taking it. Guys, when they get to this mode, that's called panic. Because if they were winning, or they thought they were going to win, you know what they'd be saying? They'd be saying, well, it might look a little weird, but we're going to pull this out. Remember in 2020, they talked about the red mirage, which was, well, on election day, it might look like Trump won, but just wait, because they got to count the mail-in ballots. They knew. They were seeding it ahead of time so that you weren't shocked when they swapped and stole the election overnight. That's what they were seeding. Now what are they seeding? Republicans are going to steal the election. That tells you they have severe doubts they can pull this off, which is a wonderful thing. And of course they do, because it just keeps getting worse for them. Spencer Pratt yesterday came out. I'm a genuinely bipartisan campaign. I ran one. During my campaign, I met with all the big Democratic power players. I mean, the big ones. You want to know who their dark horse pick is for president? Newsom ain't it. They loathe him, actually. Look to the stars, the real stars. And then Gavin's so mad I leaked this. It's coming out that the Democrats hate Gavin Newsom. Interesting. Does it make more sense now why they're trying to push Kamala Harris to the front, which is hilarious because, of course, running against Kamala would be a dream come true. She's so pathetic. But Newsom was their guy. He was being groomed for this. He's slick. He looks the part. He speaks well. He is a perfect Manchurian candidate. And yet the Democrats are turning on him quickly. And they're very mad. Spencer Pratt's letting it out there. Newsom especially, because day by day, Newsom's chances are collapsing as more and more comes out. Yeah, this man's under investigation by the FBI for fraud, especially his wife. And then stories keep coming out about his past. Gavin Newsom responds to Ruby Rippey's claims after ex-mistress writes new tell-all essay. As Gina Milan writes, the most unbelievable part of the Gavin Newsom affair scandal isn't just the affair itself, it's what happened after. After Newsom finally admitted he slept with his campaign manager's wife, Kamala Harris, then the SFDA called Ruby Rippey and told her to stay quiet. Oh, Kamala. Covering for your boy. I wouldn't say anything right now, Ruby. Just pause. More time will give you a better perspective. Ruby was broke, unemployed, and considering a book deal. The message: stay silent while the powerful protect themselves. Let that sink in. Kamala Harris doing her duty as Attorney General. See, this story is bad for both him and Kamala working together. The California liberals, not going to go well for them in 28, folks. It's really not. It's really not going to go well for them, especially as the communists keep doing what they're going to do. A-list New Yorkers named on Mondami's potential PD tax list, including supporters like Cynthia Nixon and the Wintour. He just outed the stars in the city as the rich elites, the guys who funded his campaign. He outed them as rich elites and getting the masses all angry. And now they're all pissed at him. You see, friends, when you elect a communist, you no longer have value to them. They're going to just do what they need to do. People are laughing about this like crazy. He doxed the crazy socialist Sex and the City lady who promoted him all over social media during his campaign. It's true. Told everybody where their addresses is and how much their houses are worth. Pretty insane stuff. So bad, in fact, that an actual smart Democrat like Dan Turrentine, which, by the way, there are very few of these guys left. Dan Turrentine, Kevin on two-way, they're actual moderate Democrats who still have a brain. They're like John Fetterman, but these guys are commentators, not in power. And Dan Turrentine is letting Democrats know that things are getting really, really bad for them with the communist takeover. Here's Dan this morning after what Mamdani just did, or yesterday morning, I should say.
It's stunning. So there's two parts to this. The first is just the public policy of kind of trying to name and shame, right? What if a mayor put out all the people on food benefits, public housing, SNAP?
Yeah.
And said, gosh, these are the people who make me pay high tax rates because there's so many people on the public dole, right? How outrageous is this? People would be horrified, right? So there's a real public policy kind of privacy issues. You don't put your tax returns out. As you said, they didn't just put who, they put their physical addresses. And that goes to the second issue, which we had when Ken Griffin, who is one of the most prominent hedge fund managers in the world, used to live in Chicago, left for Florida because of taxes and crime. He has a residence in New York City, happens to be the most expensive residence bought to date in New York. Mamdani actually did an ad filming in front of it. I, have someone in my life who works in healthcare, right? When the United CEO was shot, it freaked this person out. It freaked their family out. It freaked their kids out. Do I think that there are crazy people who hear about some rich person who has a second home and might not sit outside their house? And look, it's not that they're going to necessarily kill them, although that's a possibility. Throw ink at them, throw a pie at them, woo them, hiss them, harass them. Do I think that's a possibility? Do I think that if someone's wife is walking, not that they're all men, but a spouse with the kids are walking out and someone has their photographs and screams, your, husband or wife is an SOB and you rich, get out of here? Yeah. In a city of 8.5 million people, I think crazy folks could hear that. It's so irresponsible. Yeah. And I think in the era of social media, we talk about Trump being very into optics and presentation. So is Mamdani. I think this was a huge mistake. I think it's insane. I hope he apologizes. But Sean shaking his head, I doubt it'll happen. But you can't do this.
Do you think they take it down, Dan? In the next few days?
Oh, I think someone's going to sue.
They're scared, guys. This is their own party. But again, as I always tell you, this is all the Democrats at the top, not just the commies. It's just that they're telling the truth. They're telling the truth. And like Dan was trying to cover, it's a mistake. He has to play the party game. But the fact is, they know this is a problem for him. Jesse last night did an amazing segment that I want to go through, showing how these Democrat communists, this DSA, this is actually who they all are. And watch this. This is excellent work from Jesse, proving what I've been saying for the last several weeks.
Democrats finally found something they hate more than Trump: each other.
Just earlier this week, we heard that there was some kind of a Zoom call in which you had referenced an opponent as ogre on a pike. I was referring to a guy named John Fetterman.
Big boy Fetterman wasn't about to take that lying down.
I never worked out in male modeling, yeah, I mean, call me Senator Shrek, whatever, but this guy is really the Pontiac Platner, and now he's really running to be the head of our emerging pro-Hamas wing here in the party.
The Michigan
By the way, Senator Shrek, nothing wrong with that. Shrek is based. I don't know if you guys have seen Shrek, but Shrek's super based. I wouldn't mind Senator Shrek. Anyways, so funny.
Muslims just one front in the war on the Democrat establishment. Somebody else is storming the DNC itself.
There is any number of people that could do a significantly better job than Ken Martin that would help to raise money for the institution and also wouldn't throw their phone at staff.
Like who?
I mean, there's any number of them that are out there that I would leave up to the DNC members to decide because clearly they're not very interested in what I think. I tried to fix it on the inside. It was very clear that that was not welcomed.
The commies want it hot and heavy this summer, but sitting Dems want to keep things casual for now. They're not ready for a relationship.
Do you think these goals pull from the focus that you are trying to put out there, your message on affordability?
So I'm going to say this to you point blank. I hate labels.
She hates labels, but the media is begging her to pick one before Trump picks it for them.
Because Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, every other Democrat in Washington, D.C., make no mistake of it. If you don't define your party today, Donald Trump will be sure to define it in November.
Everybody's acting like the socialists are staging a hostile takeover, but what difference is there between Democrats and communists? The commies want open borders. Biden already flung them wide open. They want to abolish ICE, too. Biden basically beat them to it. Nobody got deported for 4 years. They want illegals voting. New Jersey went ahead and accidentally registered 6,000 of them. Oops. Commies want to blow up the Supreme Court. Dems do, too. They just call it court reform. Pack it, water it down, and expand it. Biden even commissioned a whole study on it. Want to torch the Senate? That's just the filibuster. And Dems have been dying to ditch it.
So
defund the Pentagon? Well, Democrats want to defund the Iran war. Then there's Medicare for all, and everybody who's anybody's already signed on.
I have a plan for Medicare for all. And pass Medicare for all!
I am running to pass Medicare for all.
And pass Medicare for all.
Medicare for all.
You just said you're for Medicare for all. Is everyone on this panel? Dan, no?
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
It's incredible.
Just checking.
See that big trans dude? it's just there. This is a Democratic Party, folks. Listen to them when they tell you who they are. They can't hide it. And this is like segments like this are so good and important because they are giving us so much ammunition now that they're coming outward and saying these things publicly. Because now you can burn down the regular establishment normie Democrats to the ground as well in the election. This is great stuff.
Just checking. That's 8 for 8 with the candidates tonight.
That's amazing.
I'm actually on Medicare.
Oh, okay.
I just want to interject real quick and say, I would do anything for Medicare for all, but I want to do that. Is that Meatloaf?
Hi, Ashley. The commies want to abolish prisons. Democrats just call that bail reform. And they've already rolled it out in every blue city. Commit the crime, get booked, walk out the same day. Oh, and they already emptied the prisons during COVID. Commies want to abolish the police, too. Democrats went all in on defund. Now you dial 911 and a social worker shows up. It's kind of like abolishing the police. Commies want price controls, too. Kamala campaigned on them.
So believe me, as president, I will go after the bad actors. And I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gauging on food.
Price gauging.
Did she say price gauging? Ban it, Kamala. She'll go after those bad actors like people trying to expose Gavin Newsom's affairs. That's what she does. Or, put pot smokers in jail forever and so that they can work and they get free labor for California. That's what she did as AG of California, which That's just like, man, this woman, that's their 28 nominee, folks. Are you guys ready for it?
On food.
Price gauging. Taxpayer-funded sex changes? Commies love them. Democrats want them, even for prisoners.
I learned that the California Department of Corrections, that they were standing in the way of surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. I worked behind the scenes to not only make sure that that transgender woman got the services she was deserving, I made sure that they changed the policy in the state of California.
Commies want to abolish the presidency, too. But we just did 4 years of that with AutoPen. Joe was asleep by noon every day. So what is the actual difference between communists and Democrats? Basically nothing. The commies tell you what they want to your face and promise it on day one. The Democrats, they're just taking the scenic route to the same location.
Exactly.
They're all communists
well said,
now. So reporters should start asking questions that matter, like, it's not, are you a socialist, but what makes you any different from one? They're all cut from the same cloth. Look at the 28 power rankings. Number 1, Mamala. Number 2, AOC.
Mamala.
One used to lock up criminals. The other wants to abolish the prisons. Now they're 1 and 2 on the same list. The wings didn't split the party. They merged. They picked the losing side of the Cold War. So now Trump's got the easiest closing argument in history because someone already ran it and won 49 states.
It's morning again in America. Today, more men and women will go to work than ever before in our country's history. With interest rates at about half the record highs of 1980, nearly 2,000 families today will buy new homes, more than at any time in the past 4 years. This afternoon, 6,500 young men and women will be married. Why would we ever want to return to where we were less than 4 short years ago?
Victor Davis Hanson.
That's all Trump's got to do, man. That and the communist argument, and it's the winner. But man, I know that was a long segment, guys. There's a reason I played the whole thing, because that was genius. Jesse nailed it. That is exactly what we've been saying here on this show, and with their high production values and editing, they were able to do a very, very well done 6-minute segment on it. But that's who they are. The communists they're exactly who they are. The Democrats are the communists. They are the same. They are one and the same. The DSA is just saying the quiet part out loud, and that's what Carville is freaking out about. You can't win elections if you tell the truth. If you're a Democrat, you just can't. You have to rely upon people not knowing the truth. You have to rely on that. You have to feed them nonsense, get the media to lie to them, convince them reality is not reality. That's how Democrats win, and they've been able to do it for a very long time, and they still have some success. Here's a perfect example from Stephen Moore. 63% of Americans believe their income's falling behind inflation, except the median household income has increased by nearly $3,000 in America. And obviously, this doesn't mean every single family is doing better, but it does mean that the vast majority of Americans are making more money this year, and the prices are not over their wages. But again, that psyop exists. People aren't being honest with themselves because emotions feel a certain way, and all they're hearing about is how it's failing, and it hasn't been a big enough jump yet for them to really feel the difference. And that's all true. But to think you're actually doing worse is a lie. The vast majority of Americans. Republicans need to do a better job communicating facts and making sure Americans know what's really happening. Well, they're trying. But when you are not controlling the vast majority of the media, and they hide this, when the podcasters have turned on you, and it's just fledgling independent accounts like mine that are actually trying to tell you the truth, well, guess what, guys? I'm speaking to 1,200, 1,300 people right now, and this video will reach about 10 to 15,000 people probably by the time it's done. That's a very small drop in the bucket. This news is not getting out to most Americans. It's just not. And I'm sorry, facts matter, but we don't have that. The Democrat machine, the globalist machine, still gets wins. And what you have to do is you have to overwhelmingly win to actually get them to feel truth. Here's another great example of the psyops and how they work. Young people believe they can't afford a family, but it's not because most of them can't. And I can testify to this as someone with 6 kids who is not making anywhere near the money in this. The biggest reason is that expectations have exploded. Look at the expectations for Gen Z. Salaries Americans say they consider the minimum to be financially successful. Boomers were 100,000. Gen Xers 212,000. Millennials 181,000. Which, by the way, look at millennials. Isn't that interesting? The generation after Gen X was like, yeah, well, we can live on less. I find that very interesting. But Gen Z thinks they need $600,000 a year to be successful. Do you understand? That is a psyop. That is a belief. That is because they are watching the Instagram and thinking it's real life. Watching these people jump on airplanes and go around the world and flaunting all this influencer lifestyle, and they think that's real. You understand? This is what's happened. This is what psyops do to you. This is how you're influenced. I can tell you right now, I have never made in my life for 1 year. I've barely brushed 100,000 a couple years. I've never made close to 181,000. And yet I'm happy. I mean, everybody wants more, right? But millennials, I'm a millennial, barely. I'm actually closer to a Gen Xer, but I just scraped in because I'm 83 on millennials. But you don't need $181,000 a year to be successful. You don't, unless you live in New York City. You can live perfectly fine in most states on a lot less than this. I've done it with 6 kids. And no car payments, and we make it work. So this idea that you need $600,000 to start a family and be successful, that's insane, folks. But that is what social media has taught them. That's what this whole psyop is, to convince you that you'll never be enough. This is why we throw out this nonsense that we can't do it, we can't make it, because that seems insurmountable. That seems like you can never make it. You understand? If you are making you get out of college, you get a $60,000 a year job and you're single, guess what? You can live pretty well on that. You can build up. You can do great. That's a great job for 24 years old. But when you think that 600,000 is what you need to be successful, that seems insurmountable. Yeah. F capitalism. You understand? That's what you need. That's crazy. Okay. And that's why they believe what they believe, because, that's stupid. It's stupid. But this chart, when I saw this chart, my mouth dropped because it explains so much. It explains so much. If you're a single person living in 95% of America, 5% are the deep blue cities that get out of those. But if you're making 60 grand a year as a single person in America, you can easily live a decent life in the vast majority of America. Trust me, I've done it. I never got close to 60 grand. Like, my family lives, see what the boomers think? That is the closest number to what I pull in every year as a father of 6 kids and a wife. And guess what, folks? We're not killing it, but we're not struggling either. We do live paycheck to paycheck. Well, I'll be honest about that. But the point is I'm not dooming over here. I believe I can grow my income. I believe I can keep doing better. I live in North Carolina, right outside of Charlotte. It's not the cheapest place in the world, but it's definitely not the most expensive. You can make it work. The problem is when you have a false idea of what actual success is, and it seems so insurmountable, you become bitter and gross. You become bitter and gross and mean, and you make terrible decisions in your voting and how you see America. Guys, the vast majority of Americans, okay, are struggling, but they're not struggling because things are awful. Things are harder than usual. I admit that. We're still doing better than a vast majority of the world. The reason why most Americans are struggling is because we all want to live a lifestyle outside of our means. That's the reason most Americans are struggling. And it's going to get better. It's going to get easier, but we never thought it'd be this hard. Look at this number right here. how generations spend their food budget. Generation Z does 46 plus 22%, 68% on prepared food. That's a whole lot of money that's just being wasted. Whole lot of money. The oldest generations cook at home. They know what they're doing. I cook 90% of my food at home. You save so much money. You save so much money. So, and right now, the average house in America, the average starter home in America is $400,000. $400,000. That's massive. And that is part of the reason people are dooming. But guess what? You break $100,000 a year, you can afford a $400,000 home. It's not easy. It's not easy. But if you're good with your money, you can do it. My point is not to say we can't get better, because we can and we need to. I agree with that. We're Americans. It should not be hard to grow wealth in America if you work hard. It shouldn't be. They've made it hard. They've made it hard, and they've also beaten us with nonstop psyops to make us think it's worse than it actually is, which means we don't work as hard. We keep making excuses. And that is a problem in and of itself. And so what is the solution? The solution is to get better, make policies better so things do get cheaper. Make it so it's not as hard to make more money. Make it so you're rewarded if you work hard and grow. That all needs to be done. And we have a long way to go for that. I absolutely agree with that, and I understand it. But it is very important to understand, too, that the vast majority of Americans could make it if they were willing to adjust their lifestyle. But they're not willing to. That's a problem in and of itself. But you know what? I guess I'm just a 42-year-old boomer. But I'll tell you what, guys, I don't say anything that I haven't done myself. Okay? I don't say anything I haven't done myself. I'm 42. I make my life work right around $100,000 a year with 6 kids and a wife. We own 2 cars, both old used cars. My newest car is a 2017. Okay? And we make it work. We make it work. We figure it out. And it's tough. I don't live like the average American, but that's because I work hard to build forward. And I can tell you, as somebody who does the work to work hard, to keep expenses low, to live like other people's don't, the reason I can say, and that's why I can say that when I see this, I know it's working, because I understand what Trump's trying to do. He's trying to make it easier on people. But the vast majority of people are totally checked out in how life is actually done. And that's a problem, but that's also because we're not taught how to run our finances. We're not taught to do that. But there's a lot of problems. Don't get me wrong. The way I live now, around $100,000 a year, is the way like 10 years ago, I would have lived like this at 60,000. Inflation has completely changed my life and completely changed most Americans' life. It is harder now. It is 100% harder now. It really is. But that's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. Get to work, do your job, keep voting the right way, recognize the right trends, and stop complaining. If we could start doing that as a country, we'll start moving it forward much, much faster. And the only way to do that is to keep voting MAGA. And thankfully, it's looking good for us in the future. Morning Consult's latest poll. Trump's approval is up to 45% on a super left-wing poll. His best approval of the summer. And the generic ballot still has the Republicans only down 3, which is a win. That's a win in the midterms. As long as it doesn't go over 5, we're there. Even the leftist polls can't do it. YouGov has Democrats only ahead by 4 with a 7.5 plus Democrat sample. That is a weighted, hardcore Democrat weighted sample, folks. And they still can't get there. Why? Because the truth is, most Americans are waking up to the country is going to start improving. It's headed in the better direction. What Trump needs to do is pull off one of those Morning in America ad campaigns, and hopefully he does it. Hopefully he does it. Seth Keshel now is getting in on the calling out Barnes grift and Rich Barris and them, which I love. You mean it's not D plus 11? Where's Barnes at to correct this poll? I get it. He's absolutely right. as all the generic ballots keep showing it closer and closer, except for those couple outliers. Right now, we're at Democrats needing 57 swing seats, but some are already Democratic held, so the 57 aren't all pickups. They must protect their share of 77 swing seats. So out of 77 swing seats, Democrats have to win 57. You understand how hard that's going to be, guys? How hard that's going to be for them to do? I don't know why a lot of people aren't talking about this. And then, again, as I keep talking about the trend for forward, the reason our country is going to get better, the reason we're going to get more wins in the future, the reason things are going to get easier, why wages are going to catch up to inflation, why? Because again, folks, the truth is this. America is still the richest nation in the world. The vast majority of us still do better than most other people in the world. That is just a fact. But it doesn't feel that way. And why does it not feel that way? Because America used to be thriving so much it was easier. And that's true. And we deserve that as Americans because that's the system our founding fathers gave us. We deserve that. We deserve it to be you work hard, you're rewarded for it. Not you have to work hard for so much longer to even get barely ahead. I totally understand the frustration of Americans. Again, as I just said, I live now today at the same place I probably would have lived 10 years ago at just 60 grand a year. That's how much inflation has impacted life. It's been horrific. I agree. It's been much harder, but it's still, for the vast majority of Americans, doable. It's just harder. That's the fact. And that's why Americans overall are upset. Because it is harder and it shouldn't be this hard. And it's unfair because they stole from us what we had. And that's all legitimate. But the good news is we're heading into the right place because demographics matter so much. If current trends hold, over 80% of the next generation America will be the offspring of right-wing families. Do you hear that? 80% of the next generation America will be right-wing. And right-wing doesn't mean fascist. Right-wing means common sense Americans, patriotic Americans who love capitalism and freedom. We're following God's command to be fruitful and multiply. U.S. population collapse is entirely driven by their left. They're killing themselves, folks. They have no connection with God. They hate themselves. They're literally cutting their balls off. Modern Democrat Party is a suicide cult. Absolutely. He's 100% right. 100% right. And this is why they were mass immigrating. You know why? Because mass immigration lowers native fertility. By raising housing costs, lowering wages among natives most likely to have kids. So they imported to kill our culture. And that's why I always said the number one reason of importing immigrants was to kill our culture. They kill our culture. They get you discouraged. So people aren't reproducing. And then they start killing our future culture as well. Mass migration lowers native fertility. And there it is, folks. But thankfully, we beat the trend. We survived it. And now I totally believe this, guys. We hit the peak of how bad things were going to get in America. I think the Biden administration was the peak. Might not be the forever peak. Someday, maybe in the far future, it'll get worse again. But right now, we hit the peak of how bad it's going to get in our modern era. The Trump reversal is happening. It's underway. Demographic changes say it should last for a very long time. The new foundation's being built. The midterms, whatever happens, the trend, they can't stop the trends. But again, the trend is going very well. The last 2 years of Trump are going to be off the hook after the midterms. It's going to free him up to do a lot. And then when we get whoever we get in the next election, Vance, Rubio, DeSantis, it'll continue the good stuff. They're not going to be Trump. No one's ever going to be Trump. But they can continue this, especially because as a people, there's going to be enough of us to demand it. And the future is going to be very bright for all of us. All right, folks, hit that like and subscribe. I still got so much more to get to, but I did see a lot of chat over that last. I know I offended some people, so we'll get into that in a second. But Kevin Cobberlin with a $20 super chat says, "Look what Utah's doing to Reckless Ben." Reckless Ben, who's Reckless Ben? Kevin, I'm sorry. But thank you, man. Thank you for the support, as always. And again, another $20 says, "Get a steady job and a hobby that makes money." 100%, Kevin. Start a hobby that could eventually turn into a business, and you can do amazing things. I completely agree with that as somebody who did it. So, again, I would never tell you guys something that I haven't seen done or done myself. let's see. I did see some people very mad about, so Deuterino, brother, I saw your comments, man, but I got to tell you something, brother. Your reality in California is not normal reality for most people in America. California is a fully communist takeover state. You cannot be upset at Trump for what's happening in California. Everything happening in California is the fault of Democrats running the place. And the relief is not going to come there for a long time until the people of California have had enough. So your problems economically in California do not apply to the vast majority of Americans. They apply only to you and to others in deep blue states like Illinois and New York. That's not Trump's fault. That's not something he can fix. That's something that has to be fixed by California, because California's policies are the reason why California's starter homes are 2.5 times more expensive than the average one. And so that's what I'm trying to communicate. Yeah, but Deuterino, you can move. Do you understand that? And this is one thing I think most Americans struggle with. As somebody who has moved, I lived in California. I love California. It broke my heart to leave California. I left behind family and friends. But you know what? I have a better life now. And I miss the weather. I miss a lot about California. I miss seeing the Niners in person. But I have a better life now, a better life for my family. And that was a choice I made by leaving. Now, if you want to stay and fight for California, if you can do that without negatively impacting your family, do it. But you got to understand the fight you're in. It's completely different in California than other places. The vast majority of Americans live in places that you can make it work. And I'm sorry, I know it's tough love, but if you're not thriving in California and you're miserable, move. Leave behind your friends and family, go start a new community, and you can do it, and you can find a better life. I'm telling you, Texas, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, South Dakota, there are plenty of great states where you can do great stuff. I get it, Deuterino. Okay, so your life's fine. That's awesome. So for others to realize their futures, they might have to leave. It's the hard truth. It is a hard truth. And people don't want to hear hard truths anymore. They want to get everything they want where they're at. But here's the deal. You can't get what you want unless you're willing to pay the price. And everybody has to pay a price. And sometimes that price is moving. So for those who want to stay in California, and I think some should. I'd love California to go back to being red. But some can't. Some can't live a good life. Some can't raise their families the way they want to in California. And instead of complaining about it, they should just leave to a better life. And that's hard. That's hard, but it's truth. I understand, Deuterino. I get what you're saying, man. I want California to turn. I don't want everybody to leave. But some people have to for what's best for them. Google Legos and Reckless Ben. All right, Motley Crue. Okay, fine. I'll do it. I'll do it right now. Thank you for the $5 super chat, by the way. And Kevin, thanks. He said I hitchhiked out of Washington State. Yeah, I get it. All right, Lego, Reckless Ben. Listen, you guys understand, I am so focused on the news. I miss Reckless Ben stuff. Okay? Reckless Ben drama explained. The feud between Reckless Ben and Bricks and Mini. Oh, I remember this. Okay, I do know what this was. Yeah. His Legos were stolen or whatever. Yeah, okay, I know what this is about. I know what this is about. You're welcome, dude. Thank you for being an awesome part of the community. Let me catch up on other stuff. D34 says, I agree with the spirit of the argument. The way the right goes about such a political loser boggles the mind. You're not going to see any disagreement from me, brother. You're not going to see any disagreement from me. Run Republic says, I offended you. I'm offended. I offend a lot of people. I don't have a problem with it. Offense is a good thing. If you start seeing offense as a good thing, it really will change your life. Because if you see it as a good thing, what it means is you recognize there's a part of you that has an opinion held in a way that you're scared when it's challenged. Because if you're confident in your opinions, people can't offend you. Okay. If you're so confident in it, you're just like, that's hilarious. You're cute. But if you're like, if it offends you, there's something in you that's afraid you're wrong, or afraid it can be wrong or it's going to affect something. And it's a lack of confidence. And that's what offense does. It exposes that weakness inside. And so I like to offend people because I think it's good to be challenged in that way. I think it's helpful. I really do. Let's see here. Violence says we need mandatory home ec classes in high school. You don't graduate till you know how to balance your checkbook, make a budget, pay your taxes. Listen, we used to do that, and it's terrible we don't. They don't want you to understand finance. You understand that? They want you to be trained and believe the only way to succeed is to get a job so that you're controlled your whole life. That's what they want. That's why they give 18-year-olds $150,000 in student loans. What Trump just posted about Amy Coney Barrett. All right, let's look it up. What did Trump just post? So he shared a Tim Pool post. Amy Coney Barrett is clearly terrified of the left. Wow. Yeah, Trump posting that is a pretty big deal. Yeah, he's letting everybody know what he thinks. That's crazy. That's pretty nuts. Used to buy your children's clothes at thrift stores like Goodwill. Now the prices are ridiculous. Listen, I'm not disagreeing. Prices went higher. I'm not at all. At all. So, Sean, 70 grand a year, can't afford food. Your older bills are paid. Sean, I got to ask you, man, first of all, where do you live and what on earth is your mortgage? You must be paying a huge rent or mortgage, or at least have like big car payments, because 70 grand a year with 2 kids, if you're in the right situation, you can survive. I'm not saying it's easy or everything you want, but you can survive in most places. So, Kevin says you're offended. Perhaps a 20 will change how you feel. Thanks, Kevin. It did change it. Now I fully agree with everything you said, Kevin. Thanks, man. You just proved I can be bought. Johnny says, would I debate Alex Jones? I would love to debate Alex Jones, but here's the deal with Alex Jones. One of the reasons I'm not looking for debates, I'm not going and looking for them, is because debates are a gimmick. All right. You understand? Unless it's like, if you're like running for president, they have to be done. Okay. Because people need to see the exchange of ideas. So that's where debates are useful. But for most debates, it's gimmicky. You can win a debate without ever saying something true, if you play to the audience's emotions and if you have the right talking points. Alex Jones has 40 years of practice, lying to people, entertaining them, all that. So would I debate Alex if it ever came up? Yeah, I wouldn't shy away from it, but I'm not looking to debate because I'm going to focus on all the real stuff. I'm not going to focus on gimmicky catchwords and catchphrases. But someone like Alex, every time I said something, he could be like, but what about the pedophiles? And the audience is going to be like, yeah, Alex, he's right. Or he can just say insane stuff like that. And if I go through it, because here's the thing, in a debate, if you're explaining, you're losing. And this is why even the smarter people sometimes lose debates. It's a game. Most debates are games. They're interesting and they're fun. Don't get me wrong. I watch them. I think they're fascinating. But I've seen people lose debates that they actually won. But it's because the audience sided with them because of the way they ran it. So DJ says, we get deeper into Trump 2.0. Left wing is becoming new conspiracy theorists. The right wing theories are being proven as fact. Yeah, it's true, because they need us to believe lies, and they're going to push whatever they can. El Nino Gagu says, one question, what's your take on Cuba? Some friends went to the island to visit their families. People are desperate. My take on Cuba is that Trump is trying to end this regime. He's put his focus on it. He has Rubio focused on it. And one way or the other, things will be changed in Cuba in the next year or so, maybe even less, maybe in the next month. It could happen very fast once it happens. So I should just debate Alex Jones as Alex Jones. That's what I do. Alex, are you telling me that it's not World War III anymore? It's World War IV. I don't know how World War III ended, Alex. Alex, could you tell me why it's not World War III anymore? That's how I could debate him. Yeah, Beretta, I agree with you. Becerra is the bad guy. Let all those people in. I think Becerra could lose the Hispanic debate if the messaging gets out there about the kids they lost, but we'll see. We'll see. Fed speaks at 2:30 today. They're about to speak. It's going to be a pause. It's going to be a pause. They're definitely not raising under Warsh. And I don't think the rest of them are ready to vote for a cut. So Susan Kokinda is outstanding. And in fact, I'm happy to announce that on August 11th, I have an interview scheduled with Susan Kokinda. She is going to be on my show. I'm very, very excited to have her on there, on here. So also, I'll be with Rich Does Politics again this weekend. And I'm going to have an interview with Mike Steger from Promethean Action this weekend as well. So lots of exciting stuff coming up for you guys. Yeah, you're right. The left hasn't forgiven Newsom for trying to center himself. You're right. You're absolutely right about that. Having Charlie Kirk on, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, his podcast. He tried to move to the center. I don't think it's going to work. Alex was on World War IV and then he went backwards. So yeah, guys, thank you. Yeah, I'm very excited to have Susan on. She wrote me back yesterday. Finally, I'd emailed her weeks ago. She finally emailed me back and we set a time. So very excited to have her on. I'm very excited to continue getting to know the Promethean crowd and hopefully having them on more often because their information is just so fantastic. It really is. Okay. You guys ready? It's Grifter Report time. By the way, I have a friend, same friend who created for me the intro to my show, has now created for me a Grifter Report theme song. So I'm working on putting together a little intro for the Grifter Report, which I hopefully will have up soon. And very excited for that. World War 11 for the win. That's hilarious. Bruce Rice says, great show, Ace. 1 month member. Thank you, man. Glad you joined. Very excited. Great to have you. Scott McKay. I don't even know who that is. I'll have to look into that. Okay. Who's ready for the Grifter Report? Let me know. In fact, Bruce Rice just sent 20 American Fire memberships. Are you serious, Bruce? That's amazing. Thank you, brother. That is huge. So, man, amazing stuff. Thanks, Bruce. 20 people now have access to the members' lives. Listen, if you guys want to go to the members' lives, you go to the community post on the channel. So it says, you go to my channel, go to community, go to the posts. You will see there are members only posts that only members can see. Each one of those posts has a link to a members only live. Well, not each one, but a lot of them do. That's how you get to see the members live. So please take advantage now that you're members, and excited to have you here. So that's awesome. All right, guys, let's get into it. Oh, excuse me. That was gross. I can't believe I just burped on air. Hopefully you guys barely heard that. That just slipped out. Woo. All righty, guys, you ready? Let's get into the Grifter Report. So, Candace Owens has a bombshell for you all. She came out and apparently has the video to prove Tyler Robinson is innocent. Yes, this is her new thing she's pushing because apparently she needed a whole lot of viewers to come back. As I showed you guys the other day, her viewership is about half on an average video of what it was 4 months ago when she was full-fledged attacking Erica Kirk, her whole expose on Erica, and when people still kept believing her. But now she's got a new one. And it is that she's completely proven Tyler Robinson is innocent. And as Sean Farash says, her goal has always been to get Tyler to walk because her goal was to let the left off the hook for Charlie Kirk's assassination. That is interesting, isn't it? It's why she blocked me after I called her out for this. A woman's working on behalf of the radical left. Well, I kind of agree with that because here's what she said. Today's episode is positively explosive. Might even free a young man wrongly framed for the murder of Charlie Kirk. Note the people who sold you Fed slop. They're going to have a terrible, terrible week. Are they now? Are they now? Well, let's just see how this all plays out. Oh, justice for Charlie this time.
All right, guys, we're here. We're going to do it.
Hey, everybody. Justice.
Kavanaugh.
Videos from 2018. Proof that you guys were best friends when he died in 2025, aren't they, Candace? Well, we all know how that played out, but this is what she's pushing as she put this out just yesterday. Still trying to convince everybody that her and Charlie were best friends at the end. And here's what she just did.
Anybody see a recoil? I didn't see one, but let's actually put that footage all together uninterrupted. Here we go for you guys to watch. He comes running on to the rooftop. What we know definitively is he gets down into what is known as a lateral military crawl. He begins that crawl over to the right first and then to the left. We see a quick flash. We are not sure what that flash is.
Pretty damning stuff so far, huh? Clearly it's not Tyler Robinson since you can see his face so clearly.
I'm not going to read into it. There's that throw forward. I say fold forward. You can say throw forward, but that's definitely something being flung forward, getting into position.
She debunked it,
and
folks.
Here we wait for what we expect to be some sort of a kickback. This must have been when our source began recording. From
oh, but you guys, it's pretty convincing.
And said, I just saw someone get up there. He's got a gun.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
And he's up.
He's up.
And he's gone.
Oh.
What do you guys think?
Wow.
I should just jump into this chat and see. Where are my gun experts? What do you guys think?
What did you think, guys? Did that prove it? That proved Tyler Robinson's innocent? I don't know. I certainly didn't see recoil. Yeah, maybe she just proved it. You know, as Paramount Tactical says, oh my God, look at the recoil of the 30-06. Almost blew this little girl's arm off. Look at this. Whoa. Recoil. 30-06. Candace, you solved it. You solved it, Candace. You solved it. She got it. And, you know, the tactical movement, that was clearly a true assassin. As Paramount Tactical says, after enhancing this new footage she released at the 10-second mark, I have to agree with Candace. Whoever that person on the roof is a trained assassin. You can't do any other explanation for it because of the movement. So let's watch again what Paramount saw.
And I actually do want to show you side by side so you can actually see a real military man
movement.
do that.
Military slide.
Alongside this person on the rooftop. Let's bring in that side by side clip. Here we go.
Look at that. Yep. It's tough. Only a trained assassin
That
can
general
move like that.
action right there is known as a lateral crawl.
Yep. There it is. The lateral crawl.
There. And we're running that back and forth there.
Only a true assassin could pull that off. As as is absolutely proven. So there's the bombshell evidence, folks. There's the bombshell evidence. It's pretty clear. Candace has solved the case. Man, I apologize to all the Candace people watching my stream. You guys were right. You've nailed it. You were completely right. So to the idiots trying to community note the post because Candace says new unseen footage. Well, wait, this is the same video played in the courtroom. Oh, that's rough. That's rough. As Brandy Siciliani says, a rooftop video of Tyler Robinson shown in Candace's videos today is the same footage we saw in the courtroom. The only difference, Candace's footage was even more zoomed in. Huh. I don't remember being able to see anyone doing a lateral crawl because it was far away. Amazing work, Candace. Good job. Good job. Totally proved us wrong. And I got to say, guys, Alex Jones has confirmed it. He's confirmed it because Candace just proved it. Alex, it's here. As Alex Jones reports, the official Charlie Kirk assassination story is now 100% dead. Candace Owens dropped powerful, never before seen surveillance video of the Lucy Center rooftop. The video Owens released appears to be raw and unedited. This is the same footage the court will not let the public see. We're meant to believe Tyler Robinson assassinated him. The individual does not look like Tyler Robinson. Hold on, let's look again. Let's make sure Alex is right about this. You're right. That does not look like Tyler Robinson. I don't know about you guys, but that is a clear picture. Obvious. That's not. Look at that. That's so obviously not. That could be anybody. that could be Elvis. That could be Martin Luther King Jr. This proves it's not Tyler Robinson. Are you kidding me? What? That could be Barbara Bush. You can't. There's no. You can't tell it's anybody. It's clearly not Tyler Robinson. What? That could be Barack Obama, for all we know. That could be Goliath from the Bible. Like, there's no way to know who that is. There's no way to know. You can tell who that is. Just this grainy footage. There's just no way. But, Alex, he doesn't look like Tyler Robinson. Yeah, he doesn't look like anybody. So I guess that's technically a true statement. The rifle's never pulled from his pants. The person in the footage has no limp. He had a limp because he was carrying the rifle in his leg. These people are so retarded. I'm sorry. If you don't see it now, I don't know how to help you. I don't know how to help you. This is insane. Nowhere do we see the shooter assembling the gun on the roof as we were told. No recoil is seen. Yeah, we covered that one. He performs military maneuvers with precision. With precision. The military maneuver.
That general action
Moving
right
to the
there
side.
is known as a lateral crawl.
Yep. Precision moves. Alex, you nailed it. The official narrative just collapsed. Can you guys see the grift now? I mean, honestly, what Candace and Alex Jones have just proven is that they are completely lying. At this point, if you still believe Candace Owens, if you still believe Alex Jones, I don't know what to do for you. You need retard pills. You need help. You need to go get mental help. You need to be on the 3rd floor of a government hospital. That's what you need if you still believe these people. This is insane the way they are pushing this, because they could have just played the video and been like, this is interesting. No, the lie is this 100% demolishes everything they said about Tyler Robinson shooting it. That's the lie. And the fact that Alex Jones piggybacks on Candace's video immediately to do this tells you they are all in on it together. And guys, I love this stuff. I love it, because when we get a big moment like this where they have their bombshells, this is where you really get to see how coordinated this all is. These are truly, truly the biggest liars in the world. I am sorry. It's them and the IRGC, which are all tied together to the globalists. This is insane. This is insane the way they're pushing this. But, what do you expect? What do you expect from these grifters? One of the grifters, the one that's not as famous because he's not really good at what he does, is Stu Peters, who decided to debate Andrew Wilson yesterday about the Tyler Robinson shooting and Charlie Kirk. Let's just listen to a little bit of how that went.
If you want to take 30 minutes to discuss your claims and then 30 minutes to discuss mine, I'm happy to do that. But you can't shift out of the burden of your own claims. Can we start with those, and then after that 30 minutes is done, you can ask me whatever it is that you want.
The burden isn't on me.
The burden is on you for claims that you've made.
It's not on Candace Owens. It's not on Baron Coleman. The burden is not on any of us.
Then let me just now answer my question. Was Andrew Colvett at Fort Tachuca or not? Was he there or not, Stu?
Where's Andrew Colvett? Why won't
answer
he
the
come out and
question,
answer that
Stu?
question?
And why don't you answer the question since you made the claim? Was he there or not?
Where is the evidence that Tyler
Stu,
Robinson
answer my question,
killed Charlie
Stu.
Kirk?
Was Andrew Colvett at Fort Tachuca? Was Andrew Colvett at Fort Tachuca?
I don't know if Andrew Colvett was
then
at
why
Fort
did you say you
Tachuca.
were 100% sure he's linked to it?
Okay.
Well, answer the question,
do you
Stu.
know all of the evidence that you would have to ignore to consider that to be an outlandish consideration?
You said he was 100% linked. Was that a lie, Stu? Were you lying?
Listen, if I was as stupid as Stu Peters, and he is an absolute moron, I definitely would not debate Andrew Wilson. Okay, Andrew Wilson is not somebody, I would not debate Andrew Wilson. Andrew Wilson's very smart, and he's very good at debating. Even if I had an opinion with Andrew Wilson where I knew I was right and he was wrong, I would not debate him because he's just too good at this. You have to be a moron to debate Andrew Wilson unless you're as good as he is, which that's hard to do. This man has a skill, and his skill is making retards look more retarded. His skill is tearing people down. He's very, very good at it. And I agree with Andrew Wilson about 90% of the time. So I like him being on my side most of the time. But I got to tell you, this was an abomination. This is an obliteration. It's not even worth watching. It's just sad. By the end of this, you'll want to send Stu Peters money because you'll feel so bad for him. It's like, it's like being a doll just getting beat up. That's how bad this debate goes for Stu Peters. Like, Stu should know better than to show up, but he wanted that money because Andrew Wilson and I can't remember the other guy, but they're offering Candace a whole lot of money to debate. And I have a belief that Stu probably got offered a little bit less, or Stu chimed in and said, well, if Candace doesn't take it, I'll take a fraction of that. That's probably why he showed up, because Stu's all about the money. But he gets demolished here because there's nothing there, folks. There's nothing there. And again, you just look stupid. Candace will never show up to debate because she knows it. She's at least clever enough to know she can't show up. But again, guys, these guys just lie and lie and lie. Let's go back to Alice for a second here. He's still pushing this whole draft thing. In fact, yesterday he put out call to action. How do we stop it? Put massive pressure on Congress. Impeachment. I don't care how you do it. I don't think anybody can deny it. We have the madness of King George III. Alex Jones calls on President Trump to clarify he's not calling for a national draft. Why? Because he scheduled a study. Since when does a study mean? Listen, I like to study all kinds of things I don't plan on doing. It's so dumb. But do you see the grift? You see the grift? He wants to make it like Trump is automatically doing this. And so he's trying to pull Trump into an argument that Trump has nothing to do with, because there's never going to be a draft, folks. You don't need a draft when you have millions of people in the service who are not being deployed on the ground. Are you serious? We didn't have a draft during Iraq when we were sending thousands and thousands of troops over. This is retarded. These people are retarded. Trump's lost his mind or he's evil. Oh no, this is the last refuge of tyrants. When they lose control, they take you to war. How's Trump losing control? Oh my God. The Grifter Report's killing me, folks. It's killing me. The more I expose these people, it's breaking me down. But it has to be done, and I'm going to keep doing it because these people have to be shown for who they are. They are such crazy liars. It's so insane. He's losing control. What? He's got 2.5 years left, and then he can't run again, theoretically. It's so stupid. Oh, my God. And then here's Marjorie Taylor Greene, who just blocked Erica, Erica's a great account for exposing grifters, says, in the spirit of getting blocked, friendly reminder, Marjorie Taylor Greene's paying her daughter $6,000 a month with leftover campaign funds for consulting. That sounds something America first, isn't that? Evidently, putting people before politicians pack means funneling money to her daughter for God knows what, while complaining she can't afford insurance on X. She can't afford insurance. She's got a $5 million mansion in Costa Rica. Are you serious? Again, folks, believe the grift when you see it. Here's her daughter, Taylor Robinson. Amount $5,800. June 30th, latest paycheck cleared. There it is. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the woman of the people. Oh my God. But, it's getting bad for him because Megyn Kelly has now decided, after trying to come back and realizing her audience wasn't coming back, she's realized she has to stay doubled down to keep the remnants of the people who stuck around. And so Megyn has finally announced she's done with Donald J. Trump.
Also talked about this article about how he is trying to seem unstable. And I wanted to be as unstable and insulting as possible, believing it could bring the Iranians to the table. That post about a whole civilization will die, he saw it as a way to spur negotiations in a war the president was desperately ready to end. Axios reporting today that Trump is bored of this war and wants it over. Whatever. You know, maybe it wasn't the best thing to start if you didn't have the patience to actually see it through. That's what his supporters of the war might say. I mean, those of us who have been against it from the beginning would like to see it wrapped up, whether it's out of boredom or not. It's really too bad that the cost of American lives isn't the motivator. It's that Trump has moved on to other things because he has the attention span of a gnat.
Yeah, that's why.
We don't know whether they're showing up. We don't know whether we should believe our president when he says this is happening and this is happening, because we know he's manipulating them and us with virtually every statement. Truth does not seem to be relevant. It's really all just tactics, and he doesn't really give a damn that the American people are being dragged along on these tactical misdirections. So I have no idea what to tell you. I don't know what's true. I don't know whether the Iranians will show up. I don't know whether we really will start bombing. I don't know whether he's so desperate to get a deal that he will give it all away and there'll be no more bombing. Really don't know. We'll find out tonight, over into tomorrow, and we'll update you then.
It's all falling apart, guys. Trump's losing power. I guess it's going to be a draft coming up because he's just bored. This is what they've This is what they're falling back on now. They've running out of narratives, and now it's like, let's just make stuff up. Not that they weren't making stuff up before, but it's just getting worse because now they don't even have anything to point at. Where's the Jews are behind it all? Nope, they don't even have that anymore. Now the narrative is Trump's bored and he's losing power. This is pathetic. And what would a grifter report be without our favorite? Because this guy has convinced so many people that he's something he's not, and still has people believing he's going to be president, which is insane. But Thomas Massie, with all the Fauci stuff coming out, guess what? He's trying to make it about Trump. Why, Thomas? Why would you cover for Thomas Massie by putting it on Trump? As Massie puts out here, one of the reasons it's hard for Trump to come to terms with the government's role in creating COVID is Trump funded coronavirus research at the Wuhan for the first 3 years of his first term. Trump funded it, really? Okay, but no. As Colonel Watkins says, that's not how government funding works, and Massie knows that. Authoritarians' appropriations must be passed by Congress, as Congress has oversight authority. Job of the executive branch is to issue contracts and carry out what's authorized and funded by Congress. NIH grant to EcoHealth for coronavirus research began under Obama, renewed under Trump, but he didn't renew it. It was renewed by Congress. Terminated by NIH. NIH did this with Congress's approval. While it's likely Massie didn't vote for it, it's disingenuous to say Trump funded it when he's established the majority of government and been clearly established majority of government in Fauci's area were responsible for sabotage. That's 100% true. And for Massie not to say that, it's pathetic. But that's because all this man cares about is his own fame, grandstanding, and making sure the globalists win. As Massie put out yesterday, the Israel lobby spent $30 million to beat me. Not true. Not true. They had 19 million. Ed Galrain had 19 million total spent, and not all of that was AIPAC. And you spent 15 million, good sir. What a lie. And Massie, he can't even keep his lies straight anymore. He can't even keep his lies straight. But America won because an entire generation is now aware of the corrosive influence on our government. Every elected Republican in Congress is bought, captured, intimidated by them. I am the last who is not. I am the last. Are you serious? This guy is such a fraud. He is the Anthony Fauci of representatives. I bet Thomas Massie has a diary somewhere. Alex Jones called me on a show today. Just like the Fauci one. Dave Smith. I got to do an interview with Dave Smith and Tim Pool today. This guy is such a narcissist. It's crazy. But thank God we have Trump. The Massie massacre. He wrote this right after Massie put this out. Trump reminds everybody, the Massie massacre in the Commonwealth of Kentucky had a really great impact on Senator Rand Paul. And now Trump's saying Rand Paul might be on the good side, might have been turned. Interesting stuff as we get the hearing going on. But guys, again, why do I do this? Because we need to see these people lying and calling it out, because millions of people have been duped by them over the years, but their influence is waning. Whether you believed Candace's lies, whether you thought Alex truly was trying to bring down the globalists, or Marjorie Taylor Greene was truly America First, or Massey was the real MAGA. Whatever you believed, whatever I once believed, the only way to expose it is to show it in real time. You can't just tell somebody's wrong, you show them. And that's what we're going to keep doing here, because whether I like it or not, it's not fun. Sometimes it's fun, but it's not always fun because they keep lying. And so you got to keep calling it out. But just like with what Candace is doing today, this whole deal on this video that shows us nothing new, not one thing, but the way they're parroting it as this is the great breakdown of exposing what Charlie, how he was really killed, and that Tyler Robinson isn't a part of it. Ask yourself why. Why would these people, these sick people, want Tyler Robinson to get off free? Why would they want that? Is it truly they're just so in their own heads, they need a win so bad that they'll just do whatever they can, include letting a killer get off? Because it's clear they don't care about the actual truth. That part's obvious. Or are they part of the conspiracy? Are they in on it? Are they part of the globalist conspiracy and they want to get people off and sidelined and thinking all the crazy stuff and making it all about Trump? Is that part of it? I think that's likely is. These people to lie this egregiously, to say this clearly shows it doesn't look like Tyler Robinson when you can't see anything. I mean, these lies aren't even, they're not even trying, but they think they still can control the narrative. And that's why I'm going to keep doing these reports, because they can't control the narrative if we actually just show you the truth. And that's what we'll keep doing. But that's the latest lie, folks. Let's see if they can get Taylor Robinson off. I don't think they'll be able to, but they're going to try, and they're trying to get you to hate Trump in the process. Ask yourself why. All right, folks, hit that like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I do want to get back into the chat real quick. Make sure I catch up with you guys. Again, thanks for everybody for the support today. Janet with a $5 super chat says, I'm a little behind in the stream. You are a respectful offender. The problem is when people are offensive to be hateful and mean. I agree with you. Hateful, mean, or gross, like sexually offensive, stuff like that. That is low-hanging fruit, and it's gross, and it just shows bad character. That's not what I mean by being okay with being offensive. I mean challenging beliefs and narratives. That's the kind of offensive that's okay. And don't be afraid to be right up front about it. Blue Eyes with a $5 super chat says, holy crap, I nailed it. AG of Florida's opening. Criminal investigation on Fauci. Let the games begin. That's awesome. Are you serious? Let me look that up here, because that is big news if true. Florida Fauci. Here it is. Fauci will not only face contempt vote by Senate committee, but now Florida AG investigation. Excellent. Moody, I had to litigate to open back up entire industries and win in court. Good. He can be tried by the states. That's excellent. That is excellent, excellent news. I don't think Tyler Robinson is a patsy. I don't. Eyes to see. I think Tyler Robinson did it. I don't think he was the only one who planned it. I think he was part of a larger conspiracy to kill Charlie. I think he was convinced to do it by online networks, globalists who wanted him dead, whatever it was. However they got to him, Tyler Robinson was psyoped, mind controlled, whatever you want to say to do it. But do I believe he did it? 100%. I don't believe he's a patsy. I believe he pulled the trigger. I just believe there's something bigger there, but we got to start with the justice on Tyler. That's what I believe. He was a Jew on the roof, says Okie Sooner. I love that. So good. Let's see here. I want to catch up with you guys. So listen, I'm going to spend a few minutes in the chat. For anybody who has got questions, comments, tag me, super chat if you want to support the channel, of course, all that. Please do. I welcome it all, but I want to spend some time in the chat, give you guys some extra time since I left earlier. One Repub says it was hell of a shot. You know, that's not what a lot of the guys are saying. I've listened to a lot of gun experts, ammunition experts, and snipers, and very few of them say it was a super difficult shot. But he was a shooter. He was raised around guns, so he could make that shot. But but just because somebody makes a shot doesn't mean it's obvious it wasn't him. Now it would be if he was, if he was some fat video game player who never was active at all and had no history of using guns. Okay, then I'd listen. But he did. He did have a history with guns. Yes, ARW a 30-06. We've already gone through all this on the show. We've covered the bullet. It was purposely a soft bullet to get lodged. We've covered that even other bullets, 30-06s, do get lodged 15 to 25% of the time. Those are military statistics. And so, yes, even though it's unlikely, it still does happen. And especially using the ammo he did. I've covered all this. I've shown all the data. I've shown all the proof. I've done everything Candace Owens doesn't do. So that's, I'm sorry, but at some point when the evidence is overwhelming, you have to say, and here's the other part nobody talks about. Okay. Yeah. 200 yards is nothing for an 06. Here's the other thing nobody talks about. He was best friends with Trump Jr., JD Vance, and Donald Trump thought of him like a son. So if any of you think he they would not allow this to be seen through, that's insane. His mic didn't explode, One Republic. Even Candace now admits that he took the shot. Are you kidding me? Or are you being funny? I'm hoping you're being funny. You're probably being funny because that is one of the things. But even Candace is now saying this rooftop guy took the shot. So Candace is even going back on her mic exploding thing. Did you have a dream to tell the truth, says Ross? No, I didn't. I'm sorry. You're right. I'm wrong. I didn't have the dream. Completely wrong. I'll take a dream over your evidence any day. You guys are awesome. I love this group. I love this crowd. You guys are the best. Lisa Doxy says, why would Trump need a draft when they have a 10-month backlog of volunteers for military? Exactly. But you shouldn't be asking me that. You should be asking retards like Alex Jones and Marjorie Taylor Greene that. Let's see. Massey is an assy. I like that. That's good. It's not a hard shot if you've ever hunted, says Sabatic. I mean, that's what I've heard. I wouldn't know from my own experience. What about the bees? The bees, the Jews and the bees. I know. It's all of it. Beretta says, I think it was a lucky shot above the shoulders, not a high aim point. Heat rate, breathing, and trigger pull would have been a mess. Tragically, well, here's the thing. We don't know that he was aiming for the neck. Okay. He could have been aiming for the head. He could have been aiming for the chest. And, all that matters is he hit him. But we don't know where he was aiming. There's other places he could have been aiming. Based on the shot to the neck, he was probably aiming for the head. Yeah, that'd be my guess. Also, a headshot is more, it's like anybody who's played a video game or maybe even been in the military, but it's like the headshot is the more, it's a more, what's the word I'm looking for? Dramatic shot. You hit the headshot, it's, it's over. So he was likely hitting for the head. Can I change the background on the chat? Sure. Lisa Couture says, I'd like to start seeing these podcasts get held accountable for lying. I agree. I think at some point we'll get there. I think some point we'll get there. I think there's going to be FARA violations on some of them. And I think that's one of the reasons they're ramping up their attacks and they're getting stupider in their lies because I think they know their time's short. I think their time's really short. So, eventually they're going to get outed. See, even JD Vance has already been calling out people who have been who used to work with the Trump administration as funding podcasters. So I think it's coming there. DJ says Tyler did the shooting, but the Jews in London were definitely involved. Well, for one thing, I don't think the Jews were involved. I think that's a total psyop. I think that's, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Candace, Tucker, all these people have been way harder on the Jews, way worse for Israel than Charlie ever was. So it makes absolute, and by the way, they're not alone. Many, many other people have been way worse for Israel than Charlie ever was. It makes no sense that they would have taken him out. But it makes total sense the city of London would have. So if Fauci leaves, will the pardon protect him? If as long as his federal crime, as long as the pardon's upheld, and he does the federal crime that, and he's only doing the federal crime that he's within the pardon, it doesn't matter. So yeah, he could leave the country and be fine, as long as the pardon's upheld, as long as he doesn't commit a different crime than it covered. I don't buy the taking gun apart twice. Well, I mean, okay. Even if he took it apart once, I mean, it's like, what does that matter? It's not that hard to take those apart if you know what you're doing. It takes like 30 seconds. But fine, if that's your big holdup, okay. What about all the other evidence? That's still, you could say that didn't happen and all the other evidence still adds up. Beretta says, deer hunting, you don't aim at the head. Head moves. Butler shooting was aiming at the head. God moved Trump in time. Oh, I agree with that 100%. You know, they went after Charlie because Charlie, they couldn't get Trump. That's why they went after him. Yeah, Fusion, we're just going to disagree on that. We're just going to disagree on that. I don't even think the Jews were that worried about the Epstein files, because the Epstein files that have come out have not been that bad for Israel. They haven't told us anything we don't already know. So I just don't think that's I just don't think that's a thing. I don't. I think that's a narrative they want to push. Again, guys, Israel is such a tricky thing, but Israel's not all bad and it's not all good. Israel is a regular country of a bunch of people trying to live their lives in the Middle East. They were created by City of London. Their government was set up by City of London. Their intel agencies were created by MI6. These are all pretty much, I can't say indisputable facts, but they are pretty solid facts. But the regular people there are fine, and a lot of their government people are fine, but they also have a major globalist infiltration in their country that still does stuff, still has sway. And, they're dealing with a deep state just like we are. That's the truth about Israel. And sometimes that deep state has led them to do terrible things. They are more controlled than we are, but I think Trump is trying to purge them of it. I do, just like he's doing with all these other places. So that's where I'm at with Israel. And honestly, nobody's been able to give me a better argument. I'm still waiting. And if I hear a better argument, I'll change my mind. But I've heard all the other arguments that I know exist, and none of them are convincing to me. Epstein files did take down a lot in the UK. That's very true. Yeah. You got to understand, guys, one of the big assaults on Israel is to take. One of the reason they push Israel so hard as the great enemy, to get so many people to believe that, is because they want Trump to be separated from his evangelical base, because the evangelicals aren't going to ditch Israel no matter what. So, and they are the biggest part of Trump's base. So if you convince so many other people that Israel is evil, then what you do is you make it so Trump has to prove he's not controlled by them, so that you can have the middle and get the overcoming votes. But Trump has to also show he still supports Israel so as not to lose the evangelical base. It's a psyop to ruin MAGA. It really is. Why do you think it all launched as Trump was starting to come back? Okay. Why do you think all this Israel stuff is now coming to light and the push is so hard? It's a psyop. It's a psyop to get you away from the actual truth, which is Israel's just fighting its own deep state like we are. And that's what they don't want you to understand. They want you to believe all Israel is bad, or they want you to believe all Israel is good, and so you fall into a place where you're stuck. And you can't think clearly about them. Because if you believe Israel is always good no matter what, you're going to get mad at Trump. If you believe that Israel is bad no matter what, you're going to get mad at Trump. You see how it works? Either way, you lose. And so it's a huge psyop. Yeah, if you go with the Q stuff, said Israel will be last. But the thing is, we don't know what that means. Will Israel be the last nation set free from the globalists? Will Israel be the last nation exposed for corruption? We don't know what that means. We just know it's last by the Q post. Yeah. How many Gentiles are part of the 144K? Well, the 144K is not a set number. It's a prophetic number, which just means a great multitude. That 144K could be 5 billion. It could be whatever God wants it to be. But it's 12 times 12 to the 1,000. So that's 12 tribes of Israel times 12 to the 1,000. That's a governmental number. And it's to the 1,000, just like a house, like the cows on 1,000 hills. To the Lord, a day is like 1,000 days. 1,000 days are like a day. It's prophetic language. It doesn't mean 144K only. That's stupid thinking. It's a complete misunderstanding of how to understand the Bible and prophetic language. And it's used by people like the Jehovah's Witness to create cults. So it's not, there's no such thing as just 144K. That's not what that means in the Bible. Art of Kevin says, read Revelations. You'll see that Israel. Well, I have read Revelations hundreds of times, and I don't agree with you. Revelation's not about the end of the world. At least only the last 3 chapters are. When Jesus comes back. But again, you'd have to watch my Bible teachings to understand that. They are there. I've done my whole understanding of the whole Bible teaching. All 16 parts are free. Go to the playlist and watch them. You'll understand. I say that as somebody who loves the Bible and has been a Christian since I was 12 years old, born and raised in the church. And but anyways, I'm not getting into that here. I don't have time to go into a whole Bible thing. You'll have to watch my whole teaching to understand what I believe. And this Israel is not the Israel of the Bible. I'll just say that too. Scott McKay is a grifter. Max, I don't even know what you're talking about, brother. Sorry. You and I are just probably going to disagree on this stuff, but that's okay. But I'll tell you that we are all allowed in the inner court once we accept Jesus. There is no separation of Jews and Gentiles. Read Galatians, read Paul, read Jesus. Abraham, the descendants of Abraham are by faith, not by DNA. Jesus and Paul both told us that. So there's no difference. Jews are to be honored just because they preserved the ways of God until Jesus came, but they're not more special than us. Let's see. DJ says, I think Israel being last from Q means after the war, we take care of home. We get rid of Israel influence in America. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not going to get into the eschatology right now, guys, because I'd be here all day. I've done entire shows on eschatology, and if you guys want to get into it, go watch them. And I'll do future members' lives on them. I'm actually teaching a class on end times right now in the members. So if you want to see the first 3 episodes of that class, first 3 classes, I should say, join the membership. Check it out, and then you can also join in the Q&A section in the membership with that. So. Okay. Anyways, guys, I love you. It's after 3. I got to go. I've done over a 3-hour show, but I appreciate you guys so much. I love this community. It is the best community on YouTube. It is amazing. I love you guys so much. I really appreciate all the support of the channel as a viewer-supported channel. Thank you guys for everything you do. Be sure to check out my interview with Blaine Holt on Rich Does Politics. if you get a chance, and I'll be doing more with Rich this weekend. Mike Steger coming on, and then Susan Kokinda in 2 weeks. So I'm very excited for all that. But listen, love you guys. Appreciate you. We're going to end in a prayer as always, because prayer's working and we're winning. So we'll pray and get out of here for today. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Bless everybody here, Lord. Thank you for them. These are good, patriotic Americans, God-fearing people that just want life to get better, our country to be better for the future and for now. And so we thank you for that. And we pray, God, that we can just see through what you've started. Help President Trump, help everybody working with them, protect them, give them wisdom, insight. And God, we pray for more corruption to be exposed. Pray for the corrupt to face justice, and for more peace and prosperity to come to America than ever before. We pray all this in Jesus' name. Help us make this country better now and for the future, for generations to come. Amen. God bless you guys. Love you all. Have a great rest of your day. Hump day. Almost over. And see you all tomorrow at same time, same bat channel, noon. Love you. Take care of you. Bye-bye.
Headlines screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead